Hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Call of Cthulhu tonight, continuing our run through Eternal Lies, which, if you know anything about Eternal Lies, and you're on this in this game, stop cheating and looking up stuff in the Eternal Lies book, Stephen. I know it's you. And if not, you know that, hey, what? No, what? Oh, I don't really have a response to that, but stop, please. Anyhow, Eternal Lies is a Trailer Cthulhu game, but we're converting it over to Call of Cthulhu because Steven's too lazy to learn another system. We've been off for a couple weeks. We are back. We are in Mexico City. This is our third locale, right? Because we've gone Savannah into Los Angeles into Mexico City. So third, not counting like Arkham and stuff that we kind of do little odds and ends around there. But this is our third actual exploration. Got here. First night, already causing trouble. So, anyhow, we're going to jump right in. We're going to jump right into the summary, and then we're going to dive right into play and get going. So last time around, you all headed to Mexico City. You arrived, and this is important, so keep track of this. There'll be a quiz later, on Sunday, November 29, 1936. On the plane, Shaima and Bev, you were continuing to study various books that you had collected from both Samson Trammell's and Ramon Echeverria's libraries. On the ground, Frank Kearns, your pilot, had to get Bev to help him negotiate some hangar space. So Bev had to drop some cash to make that happen. And then you all took a pair of cabs and you went into the city. You found a hotel within the Coyoacan district or neighborhood. I'm not sure if it's district neighborhood. I'm not sure if I gave you the hotel's name last time, but we're going to call it here we go, Casa de los Sueños. And then it was like a neighborhood known for its like artistic influences. And so you can see like there's like a mix of like Art Deco, colonial influences in the architecture. And plus there's like street parties and vendors and stuff. And even on this Sunday, out in front of your hotel, there was like this kind of the dying hours of a street party where there's like a couple of vendors and things and such. While that was going on, Pastor Wood and Marie, two of you spoke with a musician, gave you a little background on the music scene in Mexico City. And then later that night, you all visited La Cucaracha, which is one of several nightclubs and lounges in the area, but one that advertises having English speakers on their staff. There you drank some local cocktails, and you listened to a band whose songs were kind of familiar to Marie. And you started to have this kind of unnerving feeling start slithering up your back a little bit. Not only that, but some people at the table, I think it was Pastor Wood, might have been Shaima as well, watched and saw as like Marie's tongue as she was kind of licking her lips grew a little bit unnaturally longer than it really should be. I think at one point Marie tried to track down the band but couldn't. And then on the way back to your hotel, Marie, you heard the voice of Leticia de la Luz. It was like wafting out of an alleyway, specifically from a second floor apartment. You all eventually started hearing the music as well. And then a gunshot rang out and you decided to break into the apartment where the gunshot came from. And Bev, you hung back a bit. Inside, you found two dead men. One of them held a warm gun and had his throat slashed. The other had a bloody knife and had been shot in the chest. Shaima, Pastor Woody both found bottles of a substance that looked a lot like nectar. And Marie, you found a warped home-pressed reproduction of a record that was playing this music that you've heard before. But the difference between this and other records that you found is this, again, didn't look professionally made. It looked like someone was making it with their own home press. A neighbor, startled Bev, started shouting at her. And moments later, the sound of approaching vehicles from the streets got you all to start fleeing deeper into the dark alleys, led by Shaima, who I think was panicking a little bit. And then along the way, Marie, you started to notice, you've seen this before. You've heard about this as like a bout of, it's not quite deja vu because it wasn't your experiences, but it was the dream of Janet Winston Rogers, the sudden arrival of police cars, a chase through all these circuitous alleys, the sound of birds in the night sky. All of it was like very, very similar to what Janet Winston Rogers told you she had dreamed about, both you and her. So we're going to pick up. As you all are running, and you hear the sounds of cars slamming, voices shouting, Shimer, you're way the hell out in front. You're fine. You're just kind of running randomly. And I would say everybody else is kind of in a pack. Probably Pastor Wood and Marie are maybe lingering a little further behind. It is dark. It is late at night. You can see that there are occasional lights that are starting to pop up here and there in some of these apartments as there's a bit of commotion going on outside. You hear the shouts of people saying, shouting from behind Pastor Wood. You can kind of translate it as it does, in fact, sound like cops have arrived. What are you all doing as you're running through? Like, what's your plan? What's happening here in this panic state?
I'm looking to flee the scene.
Okay, sounds good. I would say you could roll one of two things. You can either do like a spot hidden to try to make sure you're going a route where like there's no prying eyes, or you can roll stealth if you just want to try to be as sneaky as possible going through the shadows and alleyways to try to find a way out of here.
I'll do a stealth sneak around.
All right, go ahead, Patrick.
Nice little 12 under 65.
Patrick, all of you are running. You are somewhere in the middle of the pack. You see, as you look over your shoulder, Pastor Wood, Marie lingering a little bit behind you. And you look off to your right, you see this kind of dark, circuitous alley between these two buildings. It's not grid system. They're kind of built on this strange angle, but you see it's a very tight entranceway, but then it starts to widen out, and you just kind of dart down that. And as you do, like you notice as you look up, there's no lit windows. Like there doesn't look like there's anyone peeking out. Like they're right, like these buildings are right on top of each other. And you find yourself going up a bit of an incline. And you curve around a little bit, which you think is probably to the west. And then you find yourself out on this open street. And it looks familiar. It's a street you probably either passed by earlier today on your way to La Cucaracha or maybe back. But as you get out there, you realize like you can see like there's a little bit of a commotion, maybe half a mile down to your right, where you think you've just done this big kind of loop and swoop around. And you're pretty sure no one has seen you whatsoever. So, Patrick, you've made it out onto the street. What about the rest of you? How are you handling this little escape moment?
I think I would like to try and draw the attention of the police while heading away from the pack to try and make it easier on everyone else to get away.
Okay.
Well, I would probably, if I see Patrick like going left, I would go right. And after going like a block or two, if I'm able to, I would pull my gun and fire a couple shots into the ground.
All right, well, let's start with rolling a stealth test as you try to go a different direction. That's fine.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Looking for 79.
There's one way to avoid the police by being a magnet for the police.
47 under 79.
Okay, 47 under 79 is a regular success, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right, so you see Patrick veers off to the right. Shima is way out in front. Beverly a little bit behind her. Marie is kind of near you, and you just veer to the left. Do you say anything to Marie? As you can tell when you look at Marie, Pastor, you can see like she's kind of almost slowing down at one point, looking up at the sky a bit, like for some reason. Do you say anything? Do you give her like instructions, or do you tell her what your plan is as you veer off in a different direction?
I feel like if I told her my plan, she would just throw a wrench in it. Nothing personal there. I think I would just like let her get a couple steps ahead and then just go away.
Okay, fair enough. So Marie, as you're like looking up, lingering a bit, you almost stumble over the cobblestones as like they continue to rise, and you almost kind of stumble backwards, and you come back into your senses. You can still hear the faint sounds of like birds and such, but it's starting to get like a little bit more distant. Like it's not immediately on you. Maybe it's something you just imagine, or maybe it's just the sounds of boots on the cobblestone that you're mistaking for it. You're not really sure. But when you look back up, you no longer see Pastor Wood. You no longer see Patrick. You can barely see Shima in the far distance as she runs underneath another little bit of lantern light and then veers around a corner and disappears. And Beverly is like chasing after her. What do you do, Murray?
Marie is going to attempt to... I think she might go more for like a spot hidden, find somewhere to lay low and hide.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Give me a spot hidden test then.
Okay.
I like it. I especially like it when you roll that poorly. Do you want to spend some luck?
Son of a... Yes, it was 84 over 72.
It would be 12 to get a regular success. Degrees of difficulty will come into play. So So it's up to you.
Rip. I just got myself over 30 luck again.
30 is a good number to be at.
I know, and this will put me below 30.
Okay.
So yeah, I spend enough for a regular success.
Okay. All right, it's gonna be that kind of night. Is it Dice? It's gonna be that kind of night, apparently, Dice. Okay. So Marie, you look to your left, you look to your right. You don't see Pastor Wood run off in the direction he goes. You don't see Patrick. Patrick just like vanished into thin air. It seems like. You don't think you can kind of catch up with Beverly at this point, especially not Shima. You hear boots behind you and voices, but you notice that in one of these, off to the side in one of the alleyways, there is like what looks like a bunch of like crates and barrels and stuff like that, like trash kind of set up here and there. And you duck down beneath it, and you do your best to effectively kind of climb inside one of them. All right, so they were sort of using this almost inverted as like a stealth roll, and you just find this place to sit down. As you do so, there's a couple heartbeats go by, and then eventually you hear the sounds of boots. You hear voices in Spanish, which unfortunately you're not very familiar with, and you hear them, and then they linger for a second, and then they keep going, and you can hear them continuing to kind of chase after your friends. Beverly and Shima, what are you two doing?
Oh, thank goodness.
I think Beverly is gonna look for like a direction where it's calm. Doesn't seem to be like any police activity or anything to like kind of veer down that way and then try and act natural.
Okay. So you can give a spot hidden would be fine if you want to, like if you feel like you're about to get overrun, and you probably will at some point, but if you want to try to like find a place you can go and just like get back onto the main street or something like that, you can do that.
Yeah, like maybe try and find a way to get there and get lost in the crowd or something.
Okay. It's pretty late at night, so there's not a huge crowd, but you might get lucky.
Yeah.
Give us the roll. 37 under 50. Okay. You want to spend 12 luck to make that a hard success?
Yeah, I would.
All right, fair enough. Okay, that's a much better roll. It's a good thing you did
when
that.
he baits you into spending luck.
I do.
We're spending all of our luck just in this. I mean, we're running away from the
Do you
police.
want to get arrested?
But
You're gonna get
no, I don't.
get arrested.
No, I don't.
Actually,
Sent
does
back
not
to
want to
it.
be arrested. I have a track record in these.
Beverly does. So at a certain point, Beverly, you cut down another one of these alleyways. It's not the same one that Patrick veered down. You find yourself kind of going downhill, and you like open up onto this kind of small courtyard. It's not even really a courtyard. It's just sort of a confluence of a couple different apartment buildings. And you can see like at the center of it, there's this little decorative fountain that just kind of pops out of nowhere. And you can see that there's a couple people here, and a couple of them are smoking. And you can see like one of them has like a glass of like a big goblet of wine out, and they're just drinking. They're just kind of looking up at you. And they're both very old people. Like you can tell, like kind of wrinkled faces, white hair, and they're just kind of chilling out here this late at night. And they just kind of look up at you with very confused faces. What do you want to do, Beverly?
Oh God, what does she want to do? She'll approach them and ask if they speak English.
Okay, give me a luck test. Now that I just took 12
Okey-dokey.
luck off of your.
Oh no.
79 fail.
Okay, so you start talking to them, and like, and you're doing the classic, American goes to another country kind of deal. Right? You speak a little louder. Like, do you speak English? You speak it slow and loud. And they just kind of look up at you, and they just sort of like shake their heads. They're like, no.
So
Just say
kind
right
of
to
like she'll do like the very touristy, like okay, like kind of wave, like sorry, and then she'll more calmly walk away at that point. And
you hear like as like and you look, the man that was sort of sitting there, he kind of clears his throat, and he kind of offers you a bench nearby. He just kind of motions down towards it.
She'll pull out a cigarette for a smoke and sit with him for a little bit.
Okay. So you sit down, you pull out a cigarette, you light a smoke, and like they both kind of looking at you, and they exchange a look with each other.
Offer them one.
and the woman will reach across. She'll take it from you, and it's probably like a nice, like it should be like do you use like a cigarette holder when you smoke or something?
Oh
Or
yeah,
one of
Bev
those?
does. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's all fancy, yeah. And so you pull it out, and she's kind of looking at it sort of strangely, but then they reach over. There's like a couple like these like clay cups nearby. They pick one up and they just use their fingers to like wipe out the inside and pour a little glass of wine and hand it over to you.
And she'll use like the very broken minimal Spanish that she knows and thanks them.
Okay. I think Bev would know like gracias. I think Bev's got that down. No roll necessary.
I think she's got like,
And you hear the sounds of like the footsteps run past you. And as you do, you look behind you and you can see there are these two uniformed officers running through this little courtyard. They stop for a moment. They shout something in Spanish at these two older folks that you're sitting with, and they say something back. You can't quite make it out. And then those cops just continue running. And then we go to Shaima. Shaima, you've been like bat out of hell running. At a certain point, I'm going to say like the panic starts to subside as you have put some distance and you look behind you and you realize you are alone. You don't see Pastor. You don't see Bev. You don't see Marie. You don't see Patrick. You are all by yourself.
Oh shit, a whole new type of panic starts to take over. And she kind of stops in her tracks and looks around and realizes she's alone. Like, oh shit. And well, obviously she doesn't say, oh.
And you're covered in blood. Don't forget. The body fell on you, so you're covered in blood. I just remembered that as we were talking.
So, she's gonna look down and, is there someone around? Is there
Roll a luck test. Do you want there to be someone around?
I do.
Okay,
I
so
do.
roll a luck
like
test.
Like a street vendor or
okay.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 62. You
There's
burst.
still someone around. It just happens to be a cop.
Steven, I would
if you rolled like 100, if you rolled like 100, I totally would have done that. 62 over 41. You get to like this intersection of smaller streets. It's not like one of the it's not the larger street that you were on with your friends as you were going and going to the club. You kind of you realize you have no idea where you're at. Like you realize it's not so much like alleyways anymore, but it's just sort of like side streets and things. That definitely looks a little bit more. But you look around, like there's like a street lamp that's kind of giving off a little bit of light. You can see there's a scattered bit of like second and third story windows. One or two might have a light on here or there. You hear the sounds of like a cat kind of calling from somewhere in the dark alley up ahead. But you don't see anything either way. And it is eerily quiet too, other than just the coming from the darkness ahead.
Oh,
And you're covered in blood and standing in the middle of the street.
very terrifying. No idea what to do. So she's gonna try and look for someone to cover or clean the blood.
Okay.
First of all.
Okay.
So either looking for like a line of like clothes drying so she can like stole or sweater or shirt or fucking something, or some running water to like try and wash it off. So those are the two things she's looking for.
Give me a spot hidden test as you look around, kind of peer down the dark alley, peer down the street here or there, see if you can find anything that works.
Just to say, we all passed our luck checks when we were rolling to see if we could get luck earlier, and now we're just not doing well with luck rolls at all.
76 under 78. I was very close to feeling.
Wow.
You hear as you like look down the alleyway where you hear that cat coming from, you can see they're like on the perch of what looks like a one of these apartments, one of these buildings, and there's like a little windowsill that they're on, and you can see a clothesline coming out from it and kind of connecting to the neighboring building, and there's a handful of clothes. Now it's the second floor, but you can see that there are a handful of clothes that are just kind of hanging, like shirts and things like that. Nothing special.
I'm gonna try to get
All right,
one.
give me a climb test as you try to climb up and grab this, or jump. You can try to jump too, if that's better for you.
Let me see what's better.
They're probably both relatively similar, unless you've put points into them directly.
No, my jump is a little better, so
Okay.
I will. If you're okay with jump.
Oh yeah. We'll say you like run and like do a parkour jump off the wall of the building.
Nice.
And you do.
43 under 60.
You just like kind of sit down there. You kind of get almost into like a runner stance. You're like kind of doing the calculations. You run up, put like 1 foot onto like the curb. You leap, push off the wall, reach up and snatch just a random shirt, just like this kind of heavy long sleeve button down. It might even be like a male shirt. It might even be like one of them Guibaras I was talking about. And you just pull it down.
I'm gonna take off my shirt.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And quickly change. All right. And it's at that point we'll cut to Pastor Wood. And Pastor Wood, do you fire your gun?
Yeah, I think so. The whole point was to try and make it easier for everyone else to get away, and I don't know that they've gotten away yet.
That's true. Yeah. And at this point, everybody hears the gunshot go off. Everyone. It's easy to hear. Patrick, you're just walking along by yourself
Two
on the main
gunshots
street.
as well,
Yeah.
so that it's easier to locate, because like one will echo, but two you can like pinpoint it.
Pop, pop goes in the air. And okay, Pastor Wood. So you fire and you hear shouts coming from nearby buildings. And you recognize in Spanish, like someone's like, "Huh, what was that?" And like gunshot, that kind of thing. And what do you do, man? Like you're all by yourself now. You don't see anybody of your friends around.
I'm continuing what I was doing and just moving, ducking down alleys, trying to evade the policia.
Okay, give me a stealth test.
Do I get like a disadvantage or anything on this?
Not necessarily. It's going to be contested, so they're going to be rolling to see you, basically, because they didn't see you as you were shooting it. That doesn't sound like a good roll. Oh my!
No, it's not. I'm trying to think. I don't have much luck to spend, but I feel like this is when I have to. Can you spend luck on a critical failure?
Great question. I don't recall. On a crit fail?
If not, I'm screwed. I rolled an 88 over 79.
So.
Oh man.
I'm looking.
Melissa, don't try to get back at me because I say you threw a wrench in the plan.
I just usually crits are like, well, that sucks, and that's just that.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see it, but it doesn't really make sense that you should be able to. So yeah, I think you might be able to push it though. Actually, I don't know. I think it's a crit fail's a crit fail. Yeah, I think you're pretty screwed. Okay, so you critically fail. All right, I actually failed my roll, but you hear
that's
this.
Delta Green rolls. I'm sorry.
Oh, did you roll
88.
doubles?
I was doubles. I'm an idiot. Like you said at the beginning, I got too many systems running around my head.
Too many systems.
Another one.
Too many systems.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'm sorry. So that is a fail, so I will spend the luck. It's 9 luck to turn it into a success.
Okay. I actually did fail my roll. Didn't critically fail, though. But you do hear the sounds of shouts and footsteps. You do get the sense that it probably worked. And maybe as you're running away, at one point you look back and you can see that there's like a pair of men that are dressed in uniforms. And you can see that they're running through the streets. They're not necessarily running directly at you, but maybe you stop long enough to peer down towards where you fired the shots. And you can see they kind of linger there. And at some point, somebody from one of the apartment buildings comes out and they're like kind of sort of motioning and kind of pointing off and maybe vaguely in your direction, but not directly to you. Okay. So at this point, everyone has effectively found a way to just flee and vacate the scene. This is definitely like a high school party. Like everyone's just like, just run. Just everyone for themselves.
Just get out.
Just go. Just scatter. Okay. So all of you are by yourselves and you will try to presumably get back to the hotel. It's late at night. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
So that-
which will take a while because we only just got there and walked in one direction.
Yeah.
And then we gotta find our way back.
All right. So I want everyone to give me a navigate roll, and this is really just to determine how long it takes you to get back to the to your. See how good you all are at this.
30.
You'll get back at you.
30.
Okay.
Could I be a diva and do something on the way back to the hotel?
Of course. I would expect nothing less.
72 over 10.
Oh my God, Patrick rolled a 93 over 10.
93.
Oh my
lost.
Hey, with
21 over 10.
Patrick and Sherman can barely find them.
They're back in Texas. How did we get here? I don't understand. Oh, goodness. Bev, what were you going to say?
Would I be able to pull on my pulp talent? I have photographic memory.
Yes, I think that would make sense in this
cool.
case. I'll take
It
that.
is for it is for a no roll though, not.
No, I like this. I'll say take a bonus die on your roll. I like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Let's see. Did anyone pass?
No.
No.
Oh, goodness. Even Bev, even with that failed. Okay.
No.
So, one by one.
Should it have been a bonus dice or just a?
No, you got it. Bonus die. You had it right. 2 10s die. You had it right.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
I still failed.
Nope, you're good. That's definitely better than just taking it this time. Okay, so one by one, you all move out from your hiding places. Patrick, the problem with you, Patrick, is like you get on the main road, but you just start heading in the wrong direction on that main road, and it's like 45 minutes before you realize I think I should have been back to the hotel by now, and so you just have to do like a full-on U-turn. But it does afford you like the opportunity to like pass by the scene. And as you do, and they don't, as you can see that there are multiple cop cars now that are out in front of this. You can see like there's a whole thing going on. People are being interviewed. You can see it from a distance enough that you can kind of skirt around it, and it's no big deal. But you can tell that like the bodies were discovered, and like it's become a whole crime scene. And I'll say that because you did such a good job getting away, that you probably get back relatively quick compared to everybody else. Bev, you finish your drink. You finish your smoke. You sit in silence with these 2 extremely nice elderly folk in this kind of alleyway courtyard. And eventually, once things die down, you get up and leave. They kind of give you a strange look after the cops left, and they just kind of peered at you kind of sidelong. But then you're dressed fairly nice, you know, like you're Bev dressed fairly nice. And so they kind of shake, and then they wave, and you can see they get up and they start shuffling back in their home. Marie, you climb out of your hiding place, and you realize that like you've gotten fortunate. Like sometime after the gunfire went off, you can see that a lot of the lingering cops that were starting to sort of scan the immediate area have ran off in the direction of that, and it kind of allows you to get back onto the street. But you have to like hide out for a little while, and then. Shaima, like you just were lost. Like it's really that simple. You were so far out in front, like you've lost track of any discernible landmark. You might be like the second to last to eventually get back to the hotel. And then Pastor Woody, you wanted to be a diva and do something. What was it?
I want to find a shady alley where no one will bother me and pull out that bottle that I took off of the body that looked like it had a strange liquid, and just take the top off and just take a whiff of it.
Okay. So the whiff is very familiar. It has got that same kind of mossy scent to it. It's not exact though. Like we don't have like a smell skill, unfortunately. But I would say your familiarity with it is enough that you can tell. Much like a sommelier like might sniff a wine, you can kind of tell that the slight differences, like you can kind of sense very similar, but there's maybe something else about it that's a little bit off. But it still has that kind of mossy, natural scent to it.
And Pastor Wood, of course, is known for his refined palate. Do I feel any urges upon smelling this?
That's a great question, because hang on. Let me double check something. Talk amongst
We
yourselves for a
don't
second.
know
I have to
that.
We
double
don't know
check
that
something.
for sure, but
Characters don't know that, but I'm
Talk
pretty
amongst yourselves.
sure. Yeah, Shmila is well aware that you did some drugs.
When
Oh,
did you do these
goodness.
drugs?
When, you woke
When
up
I
in the
got beat up
flop
by
house.
Pisner
Yeah.
and woke
Yeah,
up. Well, I
yeah.
didn't actually do
Wo-
them.
woke up
They
with,
just like they
track
poked my
marks
arm a
and
little
shit.
bit.
And
it
took
was just photos for
compromising
blackmail.
pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I didn't
track
actually
marks,
do it.
You know.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't
those
so
can be
much that-
faked. It was makeup.
He made the choice to do it, but that was part of the whole events of the evening.
We don't know for sure that they actually did it because that's a waste of money, really.
I mean,
Is
we
it,
don't know for
though?
sure it didn't.
I mean, it's more likely that they did it.
I mean, it's more fun if they did.
Hey,
Since
what if
we're
it's just
beefing
a,
today, aren't we?
speculating.
a means to increase production? Okay, we read about it in our journal. Sacrifices.
Okay, thank you. So, Pastor Wood, you take the whiff. You immediately recognize the smell. It certainly has like a slightly different like odor to it, but it still has that mossiness. And I need you to roll a sand test. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say power, and sand's actually a little better for me, so that's all right.
Okay. But you can't
Holy
use
shit.
luck or anything like that on sand.
I rolled a 60 under 63.
You would definitely feel a compulsion. You like your hand, like before, like as you're sniffing, maybe, and you're gonna pull it away, and like, or you're thinking, you realize, like almost instinctively, your hand has brought the bottle, to your lips, and like you can feel the coldness of the glass on your bottom lip, and like it did it all without you even consciously doing it, but you're able to at the last second kind of pull it away and stare at it.
I will take out my trusty handkerchief and pour just a drop onto the handkerchief. And then stopper the bottle or put the cap back on, tuck it in my pocket, and start walking back and just, wipe some sweat off my face occasionally with the handkerchief and just get a little whiff.
Okay, so you're just like, I see what you're doing. Okay, so you're not fully imbibing it. You're just getting that little, getting the taste without.
Just a little
Okay.
taste.
Just microdosing.
That's great that you think that microdosing exists for this, but unfortunately it does not. It's literally an all or nothing. Okay. All right, so if that's
Right. Where is Pastor Wood right now? That this is the experimentation that we're doing. Is he safely in a hotel room? Because
Nope.
I
Absolutely.
didn't think that's what happened. We're
Shady Alley is what Steven's been.
Shady unknown alley, unknown blocks away from hotel location. This is where we do our experimentation. Go.
Jet said I could be a diva, okay?
Yeah, I need you to roll another sand test since you are literally rubbing it onto your skin. You are in fact taking it. So go ahead and roll another sand test. You're
That
all
one
out
I
of the
did good.
woods.
I did good.
You're out of the woods.
I rolled a 5 under 63, so that's
Okay.
extreme.
You still are going to take 1 point of sand. That's the minimum in this case. 1 point of sand loss, and you can feel as you're walking, and it is fast. Like you dab it here and there, and it is not like something that takes very long until you feel that very familiar warmth that you felt like fleetingly when you were in the flop house back in Los Angeles, but now you can kind of feel it. It starts wherever you dab, but then you can almost like independently start feeling it in various other places. And mostly it starts like in your groin and starts working up through your abdomen, all these like different kind of pleasure centers and things, until you just feel really good, Pastor. You just feel really, really good. Your vision starts to cloud though, and so as you're looking around, it's very dark on the streets, like the buildings, the lights all kind of start to blur together, shapes are becoming less distinct. You also feel like a little, relaxation overcome your legs and your arms. You can feel yourself just becoming looser, and what really happens, Pastor, is you just kind of saunter along throughout the night, high as fuck on this stuff. The good news, actually, I need you to roll a luck test first. Give me a luck
So
test.
good at least 19 luck.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
30.
Okay. Once or twice, you pass by a couple people. People kind of just moving around, kind of going home, going to work, maybe getting up early. You feel this sort of instinct to just, hey, they would want to feel like this too. And before you know it, like you're in their face, you're kind of like reaching out gently, not in any sort of violent way, kind of gently reaching out, offering them this handkerchief. And each time, like for us, because we can see it without the clouded visions of Pastor Wood, they all deny, and they kind of push them off. At first, they're very polite. They see this old gringo kind of wandering around in the streets, but after a while, they're just like, no. And then they kind of push off. And at that point, Pastor, you kind of veer off. You don't force the issue any further. And
Just trying to help you. Just trying to give you some fun.
And that's what you think you say, but maybe you say something else. And what we also see is Pastor Wood, like in the middle of the street, just like kind of weaving back and forth. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's just whistling, and he's singing, and he's singing. But we're going to cut back to the hotel as one by one, the four of you return. And you get back to the hotel. It is late. We'll probably say that's happening at relatively the same time. When you all, within probably the span of maybe 45 minutes of each other, return. You can see the familiar, like 3-story. It's not a fancy, luxurious hotel, but it is definitely a hotel that has kind of a bohemian quality to it. The neighborhood that you're in is very artistically sensitive. You can see that like there's a handful of like places near and around outside your hotel where like people who run stalls and vendors have kind of tucked them away, probably for use later on. You come inside and you can see each one by one. You see that interior, the interior courtyard. No one's there now, but there's maybe 1 or 2 hotel attendants that are at work, lingering behind one of the counters or something like that, and just kind of watching you as you come in, eyeing you. Since Jaima changed her clothes, she doesn't get any strange looks beyond just, 3:30 in the morning on a Sunday. Okay. And you all make it back up to your rooms. I need Patrick. Give me a D10.
Okay. Got a 10.
You got a 10. Okay. So Patrick, you make it back to your room. You're the first one back. And when we previously got here, you guys kind of came and you got kind of caught up in the little party that was going on out front. And Patrick, for the first time, you're able to kind of take a deep breath. You guys traveled for like 24 hours straight. And then you went out. But you come into your room and it is like this hotel, unlike others, doesn't have suites. So you guys all have like these individual rooms. You're next to each other, like you're on the same floor. It's not too much of an issue, but they're all kind of like these little individual rooms. And you don't have like your own private bathrooms, but there's like, a communal bathroom here and there. But each one of these has like has a bed. It's usually for travelers, solo people, couples, things like that. And all of the rooms are a little bit different, and they're craftier and they're artistic in some way. You get like a wash basin and a writing desk, and down the hall is a communal bathroom. But as you come in, Patrick, like you look around, and for the first time, you kind of take in your room. Your heart's maybe racing a little bit, and it's got these deep, soothing tones. You have a small balcony. Maybe it's open, and you're getting this cool breeze from, it's late November, but it's still maybe 60 degrees or so out. And you can hear the sounds of like the street below, as yours is one of the rooms that overlooks the street out front. And your room is decorated with all sorts of folk art, including right near the balcony on this beautiful little table. You can see this little sculpture. It's called Alabrije, and it's basically these like fantastical creatures that are extremely colorful. And as you kind of, turn a lantern on or a lamp on, and the light begins to come in, you can see sitting on this small table, hand-carved, beautiful table, is a creature with these 6 stubby legs, has a cut-off tail, and you can see that there's all sorts of brights and brilliant colors and really intricately painted moments here and there. And there's this gaping maw. And you can see that each one of the teeth, and there are probably a couple dozen, are painted in excruciatingly fine detail. And you can see that there's almost like a reflective quality to the exterior of it, to the exterior of this creature, is like there's these multitude of scales, all of them like different rows and bands of colors. And that's what you see when you turn the light on and you come inside your room.
I would go towards it, pick it up, sit down on the bed, and really just stare at it for an unknown amount of time.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a sand test as you sit down on the bed and you just stare at it.
60 over 40, I failed it.
Okay. It is an unnaturally long time that you find yourself almost like mesmerized by the mouth. You're just kind of looking at the rows and rows of teeth. And while it's far more artistic and colorful than what you encountered in the basement of Los Angeles and Pasadena, like the more you look at it, the more you start to, in your mind, kind of create these connections and actually start to see it not for what it actually is when you first came in, but almost as like this recreation of the very thing. And maybe it's your exhaustion, maybe it's your paranoia, whatever it might be, but you see those stubby legs begin to kind of unfurl, not unlike the way the tongues unfurl. Take a point of sanity, and you hear the sounds of a door creak open and close. And we're going to cut over to Shima. As Shima, you come home. I need you to roll, or come back to your room. Roll a d8. And let me know how you do. Oh, I should have looked up how to pronounce those words. I got some weird words in this one that I just don't know how to do it. It's going to be ugly. 1. Okay.
Yeah.
You come in, and you can see as you go into your room that the most notable, like it's much like with Patrick, it's, bed, writing desk, wash basin, just a small wardrobe where you can kind of keep your things. But you can see above the headboard of your bed, and you don't have a balcony, you just have a window. Above the headboard of your bed, you can see there's this hand-painted mural of a Coyoacan like market scene. And so you can see it's not as small and quaint as the one that you saw outside of your hotel. It's much, much bigger and much more robust and extremely colorful with all these very exaggerated brushstrokes to the point. You can see that like the texture of the wall kind of comes up here and there, and whoever painted this kind of used that in some moments here and there to kind of create these moments of depth or this moments of relief. And you can see that nestled somewhere kind of to the middle center and off slightly to the left, you can see the entrance to your hotel. And all of it is just sort of kind of right there above your head. Over to your left, you can see there's like a writing desk as well that's been like hand carved, and it sits underneath that window, and it's overlooking. That window kind of goes off to the street and near the entrance to the hotel as well. And as you peer out, it almost looks like you're peering out a window that is the exact same window that you see in the mural. Does that make sense? Like when you're looking at the mural, you see the entrance to the hotel, and you see like the window on the 3rd floor above it, and then you look out your window and you can kind of see down the same street. It's almost like this inverted view for a moment, and you can see on the actual desk that you sit that's in your room, there's all these like carved shapes here and there, geometric concentric circles, triangles. You're not sure, maybe there's something to it, maybe it's not, but this is what you see as you walk into your room and turn the lamp on.
Okay.
All right.
She walked into the room and she was sort of absently looking at her shirt, the intention being like to scrub the shit out of the shirt. But she kind of looks up and sees all of this. I think she's drawn to the carvings on the desk.
Okay.
And so she's going to go over and examine them.
Okay, do you have mathematics or anything like that? Or physics? Or geometry would be ideal. But any kind of mathematics would be fine.
Let me look.
It could be a specific science if you...
It would be science, and then it would have a subcategory.
No, I don't. I don't. I have a 50 in occult.
That would apply if it was a cult. But in this case, you
Yeah.
take a look at these things, and all you can really deduce from them is that they just look like extremely intricate and accurate, like in some cases, like perfect equilateral triangles here and there. You can see that there are some shapes, like these parallelograms, that kind of wrap around a leg, but somehow maintain their form. Whoever carved these into that was like a craftsman, like of beyond reproach. But there's nothing that jumps out at you of an occult nature. But we'll say then you pull the wash basin out from maybe underneath it, and you start scrubbing your shirt. Okay. We'll say, Marie, you're the next to come back. Give me a D6.
1.
Okay. When you come inside, you look around and you can see that hanging on the walls of your room are a series of black and white photographs. And you can see that each, like there's 2 of them in particular that stand out. They're probably the largest, and they're and around them you can see, like, painted into the walls is writing, and it kind of starts above and then kind of wraps its way down until it gets underneath the photo itself. And you can see both photos are men. Both are probably 30s or so. You would probably peg them at maybe 40s, something like that. You can see that the words that are, like, there's words that are written, that are painted like these, like with with an actual brush, not written, but painted in this like kind of flowing script. It's all in Spanish, unfortunately. But you can see that it almost looks like poems have been sort of painted onto the wall around their photos. If you wanted to roll a Spanish test, if you have language Spanish, you can go ahead and roll that.
I do not currently have language Spanish, so I would be rolling against a 1 at the moment because I haven't really spent time here yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. Okay. So then, is there anything you do when you first come back to your room?
I would say that she's really, like, it's been a long day. We traveled, and just everything that's happened. Like, I would imagine that she would probably be looking to kind of call it a night relatively quickly and get started in the morning.
Do you check in on anyone else?
Yes, that would be the wise thing to
do. When you step back out of your room, you see coming up the steps and walking towards her room, which we'll say is next to yours, is Beverly. Both of you look a little worse for wear. You got some grime and some dust on you, and maybe you can see that there's a sheath of sweat that is starting to dry at this point. But you run into each other. And you're both there. I'll say you can hear noises coming from the room that you know is Shima's in the room. Like, you can hear almost what sounds like scrubbing. And you hear like the bed springs coming from the room that Patrick took earlier in the day. Beverly, give me like a D6. Okay. So as you're opening the door, you see Marie open her door and step out into the hall. When the door of your hotel room swings open, we can see like the light from the hall, like these sort of dim lanterns that are kind of hanging at these intermittent posts overlooking, because like, remember, there's like an interior balcony that looks down onto the courtyard below. And we can see that like your room is very Art Deco, and you can see like there's almost like a kind of wallpaper in a way, these geometric patterns, very sleek and streamlined. But also like our eyes and your eyes might settle on this gramophone, this like basically a record player kind of sitting off on this very rustic looking cabinet that almost seems to contrast with the other nature of it. And you can see that the cabinet doesn't have any doors on it. It's just kind of an open face cabinet, and there's what looks like a couple pieces of pottery, but then leaning up against it, you can see what looks like sleeves of a couple different records as well. And so that's where you're at, Beverly, when you see Marie pop out of hers and you open the door to your room. What do you two do?
Bev kind of gives like Marie just kind of like this like acknowledging like nod, and she doesn't shut her door, so if Marie wants to follow her into the room, she's welcome to, but she does like walk in, and she will go kind of straight to those records to see what kind have been left behind in the room.
And I would say Marie would kind of be nosy, like we just had
like,
kind
I
of
want to see what your room looks like.
Bit of an experience, and so she would probably sort of want to follow you in and just decompress a little bit.
Okay. So Beverly, if you go in and you kind of kick your shoes off, whatever it might be, you move over to the cabinet, you kind of look through. And again, you hear a little bit of noise through the walls, like right next to you on the other side is Shima. You can hear the scrubbing. And you see there are basically 3 records here. One is Juan Arvizo with Orchestra de Rafael de Paz. And you can see as you look at it, it seems to be a jazz orchestra. And the title of it, or at least one of the sort of the main features, the main songs, is Vereda Tropical. Then there is Agustin Lara. There is I really should have looked these up. Solamente una vez. And again, it's like it looks very sort of jazz like. You see like a kind of a photograph of like a man and a woman standing in front of a grand piano. And then you see a third one, which is Don Azpiazu in his Havana Casino Orchestra. And this one actually comes across in English here and there, and it seems to be like it seems to sort of regard like a Cuban man. And it's the main feature is El Manacero. Marie, I would say you'd probably even know this song as The Peanut Vendor. It's probably been around since like the early 30s or so. It's probably popped up here and there, and it's kind of just sort of spread a little bit like wildfire across certain scenes. But the other 2 are probably more local and maybe not 100% your knowledge. But you don't see any like Leticia de la Luz or Luz Records, anything like that, if you're looking for those things, Bev.
Yeah, that's what she would be looking for. And she was also looking for, because she did confirm with the bartender that the band that was playing that made us like hear weird stuff was Javier Luna and his Grinning Fools.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something she would have been looking to see if like he was listed on there or not.
And you definitely don't see that. Marie, if you're there, you can roll like a singing or art music, whatever it is you have.
Okay, that is a 51 under 86.
I would say you've probably heard of the names of each of these. Like these are legitimately well known. You would say that the first is more like bolero, but it's still kind of jazz, and the second one is kind of like a love song kind of deal, and the third one is sort of this well known. It's kind of widespread. It's kind of got like rumba kind of sound to it. You all would know that song too, by the way. The Peanut Vendor, you would absolutely 100% know the song if you heard it. Okay.
It sounds like
Gets
something
caught in my head
and she would say to
all the time.
And she would say to Dr. Keat, well, I do believe when we were picking random rooms, you were gifted the musical room, it would appear. My room has photographs in it and some paintings around the photographs that I will need Pastor Wood to translate for me.
Interesting. And like you can tell at this point, Bev is the most drunk I think she's been, because she had that extra drink, and she just kind of sits down on her bed, and she doesn't bother playing anything. And maybe, do I have a balcony?
Let's see, which one are you? So you were 4? No, you do not. Sorry.
So she'll crack the window open and she'll go over by the window as she does, to have like one last cigarette before bed.
Okay.
And she'll just kind of sit down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sit down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll just kind of sits down on her bed, and she'll And
You can smoke inside. It's totally fine. It's 1936.
Yeah,
you can
but she
smoke
doesn't want it to
inside.
be
You can smoke at the
super-
hotel. Like, yeah.
So, but she's like leaned up against the wall near the window as she's smoking.
Okay.
And just kind of like conversing with you, but very kind of like sloshy for Bev. It's
Mhm.
not her usual sort of like proper behavior.
Both of you hear the sounds of not like screaming, but like kind of a loud voice, and then like you hear a thump out in the hallway. And I'll say Shima and Patrick, you're welcome to hear this too if you want. You don't have to roll a test if you don't want to. But if you think you would have been listening to things, it's just like a loud thump, and then the voice continues. The voice is in Spanish again, but then it kind of slips into like little bits of English, and you hear like, sir, are you? And
Oh dear. Oh dear. I let's
reflexively quote.
not this again.
Shima, Marie, you can see Pastor Wood is like half on the stairs, half on the ground. There is one of the hotel clerks is trying to lift him up, and Pastor Wood is kind of like caressing the side of his face as he does so. And the hotel is just like, sir, no. And he kind of looks up at the rest of you kind of pleadingly.
Shima runs over and sort of gestures for this person to like, it's okay. I got him. It's fine.
Thank you. And like they kind of like nod, say thank you, and then they kind of start to back away, and then they turn. He has drank much.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And Pastor Wood, it's at this point you feel the familiar, or you hear the familiar voices, the familiar sense of some of your compatriots. And boy, they certainly would want to feel similar to how you're similar. Like you feel so warm and so good. And so how would you say you go about, again, this is all very, like, it's all very gentle. It's not like you're not aggressive, but how would you go about trying to like convince your fellow investigators to just try a little bit? Just try a little bit.
Narratively, this is all happening while Shima's trying to like pick you up, like get you to your feet.
Well, we have had just such a fun night. I don't see any reason why this fun can't keep continuing. Shima, why don't we just go and have some fun together? We can go downstairs and we'll go to the bar, and why don't we just keep this going?
She kind of looks over very confused to Marie. It's like,
the other thing that would probably be happening is as he's saying this, even if he's intending to do this or not, he's just like instinctively extending that like that dabbed like handkerchief up in your direction, like he's trying to give it to you, he's trying to offer it to you.
She not knowing what's on the handkerchief, she's gonna just take the handkerchief and put it in her pocket.
Okay.
Like, thank you.
Oh no,
Pastor
no,
Wood's
it's for
handkerchiefs are
dabbing the
gross.
sweat.
No, I
got a new one.
Oh, really? I don't believe you.
We had a month off. It's been washed.
Once.
Okay.
No, Shima. The handkerchief is for dabbing off the sweat.
I'm not sweating though, Pastor.
This is Mexico. Everyone's sweating.
But I'm not right now.
Well, I don't know why you just can't have fun.
This is when Beverly peeks her head out from her door and looks down. You guys are causing a scene.
Pastor, maybe we can we go? Let's
go down to the bar. I don't know why I even went up these steps. If I had a brain, I'd take it out and play with it. Let's go. Round of drinks on me.
I need to finish cleaning my shirt. Maybe we can go after?
No, it can wait. You look fine.
So Marie had sort of run past the scene because she wanted to sort of drop a peso to the clerk and just sort of one of those looks that is intending to convey that we're looking for discretion. So,
okay.
sort of a thank you, and, sort of dropping coin, which I'm assuming is kind of communicates a like, thank you, we've got this. Let's not talk about this again.
Okay. Give me a roll. You could do, if you just want to do pure bribe, just roll, give me a credit rating. If you're trying to something else, if you're trying to like fast talk with an excuse, or if you're trying to bat your eyelashes, you can roll charm.
I mean, Marie always wants to bat her eyelashes and roll charm.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yes.
I would say her Spanish would not. Her Spanish skills do not warrant a fast talk. Like that just wouldn't make sense. She doesn't know the words to fast talk in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I think it would just be sort of
the hotel personnel has like some of them, they seem to speak English. Not, it's probably better than your Spanish.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
But it's not like entirely fluent. Yeah. You would guess at a hotel, they're probably dealing with a lot of out-of-towners.
Freaking kidding me? I've got an 80 in charm and I roll a 97.
Hey, it's a good thing you have an 80. Otherwise, that would have been a critical fail. And so he kind of looks up at you and he takes your peso, takes whatever it is that you're tipping, and he kind of nods. He's like, see. And then he descends the stairs. Okay. And as far as you know, worked perfectly.
Absolutely. And then she would go back and then see if she can sort of take the other side of Pastor Wood from Shima.
Okay.
I actually,
Sissy May, you
I
can get
think,
in on this. We're going down to the bar. We're getting a round of drinks, and it's on me.
No, I think Shima is again, like she's not smart enough to know what is happening, but she knows that something is happening that should not be.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's going to
pay for everything.
She's going to physically march Pastor Wood to her room and firmly, and will absolutely make a strength roll if I need to, because I'm
He's an old frail man, and you're a young college wrestler. I don't think any strength roll is necessary. You push him into his room. One of the things
my
that
room,
your room. Okay, push him into your room. No problem. If you would like, you can roll a no roll, which is just roll an intellect if you want to do that, or an idea roll. As you bring him in, you put the handkerchief in your pocket. Maybe you drop him down like on the floor or on the bed. That's not a problem.
Int is
just your intellect. It's at the upper right on the sheet.
Yep. 56 under 60.
Okay. So in between everything that Stephen has been saying with Pastor Wood, you've probably also heard him talking about like, feeling good, warmth, and then like you kind of catch that smell on your fingertips that grab the handkerchief, like just like as you drop him down, you kind of like wipe maybe your own sweat, and as you pull your hand across your face to wipe the sweat off your brow, that familiar kind of mossy scent that you smelled when you were in the flop house with like Patrick and Marie and with Johnny back in Los Angeles. You smell it's very faint, but there it is on your fingertips.
Her marching then is even more purposeful, and she kind of sets her jaw and will say quietly to Marie, like, he has some nectar in him.
And so Marie will see if she can kind of go through his pockets as Shima is sort of moving.
Did you throw the bottle away? What did you do with it, Pastor?
I did put it back in my pocket.
Okay, you will find the bottle of nectar, which I think both Pastor and Shima did see it and maybe took some from the crime scene as well. So I think Shima, it probably maybe even makes more sense to you now when you see it, because you did see the nectar. But yeah, there's a bottle. It's got the size for like maybe 3 doses. And you can see that a little bit is gone. It's not like fully emptied. So if you took a dose, it's probably a small dose, but it's possible maybe even during
I'm a married man. What are you doing with your hands in my pockets?
Well, apparently I am retrieving something that was full last time we saw it, and now it's not anymore. And she's just, just kind of clucking her tongue at you for like, why
and
this is something that you were
Darcy's
doing.
in the doorway, like having told us to get out of the hallway. So I would very much like to have given her this sort of meaningful look and be like, "Need your help, please."
Bev, do you do anything? You did say you're really drunk. So, but you see,
Yeah. She gave her lecture of like, you guys are making a scene, and then she steps back in her room. She shuts and locks her door.
Okay, perfect.
And Bev kind of takes off part of her clothes, like she's in her undergarments or whatever, and she just kind of lays down on her bed and she's out.
Amazing. That's so much better.
Okay.
Come out to wag her finger and
Yeah,
Okay.
she did enough of her mom
so
friend
great.
duties, and then she's like, "But I'm out. That's it."
That's great.
let's check back in with Patrick. Patrick, there has been a commotion outside. You have been staring, like you've been locked eyes with this thing for a while. And at some point, the commotion, the noise kind of creeps in and overtakes you, and you realize that you've kind of fallen into this trance staring at this thing. And as you shake your head out of it and you look at the bed, it is really just an extremely well-crafted, colorful-looking, like fantasy or mythical creature. And now you look at it again in sort of fresh, sober eyes, like the teeth look nothing like what you saw in LA. Like it's a big mouth, sure, and there's teeth and everything, but like it's just a mouth. It's like it's a dragon's mouth or something like that. And that's when you hear voices outside. You hear things kind of shuffling, getting dragged around. Are you doing anything, Patrick?
Yeah, I'll set it down back on the table, and then I'll peek my head out, make sure everyone's okay.
When
And
you-
if I see everyone's there, everyone's fine. Like, see you in the morning.
Okay, so you go back in, and you, much like Bev, the two of you go to sleep. Okay. And then how do we resolve this, Marie and Shima and Pastor? How do we do this?
Sherman's gonna ask, Pastor, did you take this or did something happen? You wouldn't have taken this.
I think it seems pretty obvious that he took it. I mean, he is acting exactly
someone
like
gave it. Someone
Mr.
must
Price
have
did.
put it in him, like it happened with Mr. Price. He wouldn't have you didn't take this. Who put it in you?
Well, what are we? Why are we? This is not the bar.
No, Pastor Wood. Unfortunately, Ms. Oberon, this might just be a mystery as to how this bottle came to not be full anymore in the last few hours. I say, and she kind of like puts her head to the other side of Shima's, away from Pastor, and just sort of like whispers in Shima's ear, I think we just lock him in. Like I'm imagining that these are older rooms that you might just be able to just key lock the room, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay.
It'll pass with time.
I'm gonna stay here with him.
I don't know. No, I don't believe that would be wise. I understand that you gave him your room, but I think you should probably bunk with me tonight. Yes, that, and it's not a question. She just sort of says, like, you're going to bunk with me tonight. That will be the solution to
We
this
can't leave him alone.
problem. It'll wear off. Bev drank a little too much. She's drinking it off. However it came to be that he imbibed some more of that, it will wear off. You should not sleep here, and there's no need for you to stay awake all night. And she's just sort of like pulling Pastor Wood's shoes off and just kind of throwing them in the corner.
It's clear that she's not. This is not an easy decision for Shima, but she does go with Marie.
Okay.
And after looking very positively at Password,
We'll say, and then,
you let us know if something happens.
Well, is a frog's rear end watertight?
I don't know.
Wait, I
Is
don't
it?
think either of us know, Pastor Wood. But these are the questions that we will leave you to consider, and I hope that you go off to sleep soon.
Okay. We'll say at a certain point, Shaima and Marie, you leave the room. You lock him in as best you can. Pastor, you you didn't take like a full dose, so like you took like like I said, a smaller dose of it. So like you've kind of kept a little bit more coherence maybe than you might have otherwise, and because you pass your sands and stuff like that, like we'll say like it's not, you don't go into sort of full blown fever of it. But when morning comes around, you definitely feel the longing. Like you can feel the absence of it. Like at some point you fall asleep. And when you wake up and you look and you can kind of see, like maybe you're half on the bed, half off, and you look at the headboard and you look at the mural and you're like, this isn't your room. Your room had volcanoes on the wall and there's a big ass tapestry. Like this isn't your room. And you look around, you can see some of Shaima's things, and like you have like little gaps here and there between when you all escaped the cops and then when you got back to the hotel. You have these vague memories of incidents on the street, incidents with the hotel manager, incidents with Shaima and Marie. You think all of it is kind of flooding back to you, but it's all kind of vague. It's like looking almost sort of through a foggy lens. You have the experiences, but not like the full picture of it all. But you have one hell of a headache, and you can feel like this cold absence in all the various places where you were feeling warmth the night before. And you have like this feeling that there's a song in your head and you kind of go to whistle it or hum it, but when it comes out, it's like this, like these flat notes that just don't seem to connect together properly. And it just makes you even feel more kind of lost and confused, as if something has been taken from you. What would you do when you first wake up then, Pastor Wood?
Try to get out of the room that I don't know how I really ended up in.
And so it's at this point, we'll say the rest of you are waking up. You're getting ready, do whatever it is you normally do in the morning, and you hear the sounds of banging on a door coming from just a couple doors away from your own. And Marie and Shaima, you would know exactly what this probably is.
Oh my
First thing
word!
Sean
I
was
would
gonna do
imagine.
I'm so sorry I talked over you.
Oh, Marie just sort of like has the sudden realization of, oh my word, he must need to use the restroom, and he is locked in, and the restroom is down the hall. Oh, that poor gentleman.
Shama's first thought was going to go to the room and check on him anyway. So she's like, as
Okay.
soon as she is up and dressed, like she's heading over there.
Okay.
By the time you all make it to the door to open it, Pastor Wood already has the window open, and he's thinking like, how far of a drop is it to get out of this room?
You've got like the sheets tied together into ropes and stuff. So you open the door and say Marie, Shaima, and then Bev and Patrick, you can be there too if you like. There is Pastor Wood in a horrific state. The room smells terrible. And you can see like his shirt is like very wrinkled and stained with sweat, but he is in there and he looks like he has just woken up from a terrible bender as you all look at him.
What the hell is going on?
We're gonna ask you the same thing.
How'd I end up locked in this room?
Someone gave you nectar last night, and then you came back to the hotel, and Marie and I had to take care of you.
What on earth are you? No, that's not what happened.
And Marie will, from her handkerchief, like she'll go back to the room, grab her handkerchief, unfold it, and show you this was full, and now it's not.
That's where go ahead and roll a sand test. Patrick, are you in the room?
Yeah, I would be around just to check up, see if everything's okay, if they need my help.
Give me a sand test as Marie shows this bottle of nectar and sees this this handkerchief. Bev, are you there?
I think Bev's going to be the last person out this morning.
Fair enough.
She got a little bit of a hangover.
Yeah. She's...
That wasn't... they weren't smoking cigarettes last night. It was something else.
95 over 62.
Extreme on my sand.
Extreme success?
Yeah.
Patrick, you definitely feel the pull of that vial. You look at it, and like almost like a portion of your body seems to kind of lurch towards it before you catch yourself. And you kind of do this quick sensation check. You can feel it, like this warmth is like almost starting to grow, and then it dissipates pretty quickly. You can feel like your lip kind of being caressed a bit, and you realize like you're licking your lips, and like your hands are kind of trembling as you look directly, and you know what's in that bottle. You know the effect of it, and you see it in Marie's hands. You can even get the faint smell that's still left on that handkerchief. It's barely there, but for some reason you can smell it. It was stuck in your nostril for days in Los Angeles, and there it is again.
Grabbing at my nose. Marie, can you put that away, please?
And Pastor Wood, as Marie goes to put it away, you feel this instinct to just lunge after it.
I do that.
Okay. And so he does. So there's a group of you in here. Marie, Patrick, Shaima, you're in here. Patrick, you're a couple steps away. Marie, you're putting it away. And you see as Pastor Wood lunges after your hand as you try to like put it away in her pocket or maybe in a bag or however you're putting it away. And this is what's happening. So what is everyone doing in this situation? What is Shaima, Marie, and Patrick? How are you reacting?
Is instinctively getting in Marie's, like in between Marie and Pastor Wood.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Both of you roll brawl tests. I want to see how this resolves. No damage necessarily, depending on how the rolls go. But just say, as Pastor, would you
do damage? No.
I'm glad Marie's not the one rolling the brawl test.
Since he wants to do damage, let's do a triple damage.
I did not do very well, but I did pass. 56 under 61.
All right, Shaima.
60 under 85.
Okay. So I'll say, since Pastor Wood, you were kind of lunging in the direction of Marie, Shaima, kind of you step in the way. Since you both pass, what I'll say is two things happen. Pastor, you do manage to get a hand right on Marie's hand as it is about to go and put it away in her pocket or her bag, like kind of knocking the bottle free. But you don't get full grasp of it before Shaima kind of grabs you at that point. And now you're kind of locked in this grab. And there on the floor is this bottle of nectar right in front of you, Marie. No damage done to anybody, but like you feel this pull towards it, Pastor. Shaima, he is an older man, but he's got a strength to him right now. And Patrick, you can see on the ground, and you're resisting it, but you can see on the ground there's that nectar bottle just kind of spinning to a stop right next to Marie's feet.
What do you do? Go to pick it up, but
can Marie really try to grab it?
Just direct
since it was in my hand.
The two of you go for it at the same time. Patrick, you get to it first, we'll say, but as you pick it up, you like look at it for a second. It lingers. You feel that warmth, but again, you got an extreme success, but you're able to resist it and hand it over to Marie at that point. Hand kind of shaking a little bit as he does so.
What is this effect? And she's just like putting it back in the handkerchief to put it back in her pocket. What is the pull that this has?
Just put it away in your room. Put it away in your room.
How dare you? A man is out of sorts for one night. One night, and you go through his pockets, you rob him. We're supposed to be working together.
Can't explain it, Marie, but it's animalistic. Just get him out of here.
Yes, Shaima, you are absolutely right. I will take this to my room. And so she just sort of like looks at the two of them and like closes the door behind her as she goes back to her room to hide this.
Once I feel Pastor Wood like stop straining, I will immediately let him go. Pastor, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You should be. It's not about the whatever that is. It's the violation.
You were really not yourself last night.
Clearly, something must have happened.
Of course, something must have happened. That's what we need to find out. What happened? And
you know what it was?
It's like, look, here's your handkerchief back. I'm sorry we went through your things, but we had to.
Don't do it again.
All right. So morning. All of this just happened. Pastor Wood, you've seen the nectar go away. It's just you and Shimer momentarily. Patrick, you're probably standing nearby, maybe in the hall or whatever. Marie, you come back out, you say, after having hid the nectar in your apartment or in your hotel, I should say. What do you guys do next?
How about some breakfast?
Breakfast sounds fine.
Yeah, I think Marie would knock on Bev's door because Bev sort of didn't involve herself in this. And so Marie's kind of like, all right, enough of that sleeping in.
Okay.
So she's going to make sure that Bev gets up.
Okay.
Sherman does have the men's shirt from the previous night and gives it to Masterwood sort of as an apology. God, I'm really
The what shirt?
The men's shirt that she stole from the clothesline. And she gives it to Masterwood as an apology.
What?
It's
Thank
all
you.
I had.
I brought clothing.
That's just a gift.
Okay. Where's my room?
Oh, it's
Couple doors down.
Over there.
Yeah.
I'll go put it in my room. And
Okay.
just
Bev?
take a big moment to collect myself.
The big feature in your room, Pastor Wood, is a beautiful and a large tapestry hanging from the wall that depicts what looks like a pair or a couple of volcanoes. It's got a kind of a naturalistic feel to it, as you can see on various shelves and on the writing desk and on the ground in the corner and on the sill of the window. There are a variety of like small cacti and succulents and other plants here and there as well. It's got a very naturalistic feel to it.
I'll just take a bit before I go regroup.
Okay. We'll flash forward maybe about an hour, and we'll say after about an hour, everyone cleaning up, we all meet in various at various points in, say, the courtyard below. There is breakfast being served. You can see there's these small little bistro tables. You can kind of pull a couple of them together to sit all five of you near enough to each other. You can see up to the sky, but you can also see the balconies, the interior balconies with this like wrought iron decorative like railings and things above you. You can hear the sounds of music being played, as like it looks like they might have just like a record player somewhere. It's not live music. You can see there's other people that are staying here as well. And you can see that there's a group of other folks here and there. Some of them are drinking what looks like some kind of cafe or tea or coffee or tea or something like that. You see people are eating. Some of them are eating like full plates of food. Others are some kind of like sweetbreads and things like that. And we'll say you all are together. Everyone is rested. Pastor Wood, you're still lingering, but you're mostly there. Bev, you probably have a little bit of headache from your wine and extra substances. And otherwise, everyone is in relatively decent health. What do you guys want to do?
A little bit of housekeeping. Can I reset my daily sand laws?
Yeah, I would say everybody can at this point reset your daily sand loss for the day, because everyone did get to rest for the night.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent.
Did we learn any Spanish last night?
Yeah, we'll do that thing. Everyone go ahead and roll. This is our little home house rule. Everyone go ahead and roll an intelligence test, excuse me. And let me know how you do. All right. Trying to look for my
85 over 80.
80 over 60.
Okay, that's
Also,
two
I
fails.
Forgot most of the night.
42 under 60.
Okay.
92 over 70.
Okay, so Pastor, you failed, right?
Correct.
Is that correct? All right.
Yes.
You can take 1 point. At some point, your Spanish did somehow improve. We'll say maybe the conversation with the neighbor, maybe it was just sitting in the in La Cucaracha, whatever it might be. Maybe it was you hearing everyone say, "Get the hell off me, old man. What the hell are you doing?" Whatever it might be.
I learned a lot of curse words.
Marie, did you pass? You said? All right. You can get 2 points to your Spanish. Shaima, what'd you get?
80 over 60, fail.
Fail. You also can get 2 points. Beverly, how'd you do? Fail. Just one for you, Beverly. I'm sorry. And then Patrick, how'd you do?
Okay.
I failed as well.
2 for you as well. 1s and 2s.
Is there any way to add language on the sheet?
Yeah, you basically have to add a new skill. I could do it for you later. We can worry about it after stream. Okay. All right. So you guys are standing around or sitting around. You're getting your food. You're drinking your tea, your coffee. You've ordered some breakfast. What do we do?
So I presume over breakfast we talk about the leads that we have to follow. So we have the post office box. We have the address to the recording studio. We have the name of the person who runs the recording studio if we want to like look into them at all. And then we have the name of 2 different artists. We have Javier Luna and his Grinning Fools, and then both names for Luz.
Rosario Maria Lopez was her original name, and that's what you basically learned a few times now. At some point she changed her name, like a stage name or something like that. So yeah, but she also hasn't been seen in a while.
Of Jonathan Brooks, he was in the correspondence as well.
That is true.
Okay. Our Luz Disco's PO box lead. Do we have anything like where that is yet?
So the PO box is, so you got that info because the correspondence that you found in Samson Trammell's testament between himself and this JB, who you presume is probably Jonathan Brooks, is addressed to that PO box. So it's effectively a post office. It's just a question of finding the post office. I don't think you guys did locate what specific post office it was. You could easily do a quick. You could effectively go to any post office and find the information. You might even get lucky and just ask the person, the manager here might know as well, or they could kind of call, or you could just kind of have them call. So it's not a hard thing to find out. You would be able to find out pretty quickly.
Yeah, as we're eating here, maybe even ask the waiter if they've heard of Luz Discos.
Okay. So yeah, if you ask just like a random person, like a random waiter or somebody working at the hotel, okay, you hear the vague, it's kind of vague, and it's a little less informed than the street musician from the day before, because they work at this particular hotel in this district. Everyone has some semblance of knowledge about various music and artist venues and things like that. So, I would say they don't have a specific knowledge of where it is, but they have probably heard of it. They would say you would probably get the feeling that they're not a very well-known record company yet. They're small, or they're not very well known. Maybe once or twice with some of these street festivals outside the hotel, maybe an artist or 2 that has worked as a backup band. Maybe they've done a recording for them, but beyond that, you don't really get a whole lot from just a random waiter.
And Marie will probably try to ask in the little bit of Spanish that she learned yesterday. She'll kind of say she'll kind of ask for directions to the post office or the nearest post office or anything like that. So that's kind of what she would try to ask at the front desk or anything.
So maybe when the waiter comes back, Patrick, you ask him a couple questions and he does his best, but you can tell that he only kind of knows it a little bit by reputation. Marie, when you ask for a nearby post office, that's easy. That's just 2 blocks north, 1 block west, and you should be able to find one. Okay.
Since that is what brought us here, I think we should probably start there and see where the investigation takes us from there.
Sounds good. We can head over soon.
Okay. So you guys have your breakfast. You can have whatever you want based upon what they all have to give you. Chilaquiles or something like that, which are wonderful. But we'll say you eventually head out, and you kind of go over to the post office, and the one you're at is clearly not the right one, but they are able to redirect you, and they give you a. They kind of like when you wait in line, you come up to a person and kind of standing behind the booth. You ask the question, you kind of give them the number 1629, and they give you direction to Quinta. Hang on, let me get this right. Quinta Casa de Correos, which is also known as a Palacio Postal. It's downtown central Mexico. It is not. You'd probably want to take a cab from where you're at, or a pair of cabs. But it's not hard to find whatsoever. It's known to be a very extravagant post office. Do you all head there?
Yeah, how's public transport? There's like buses routes that run?
There are some buses and things like that. It's for you all, if you have since you're coming out of the hotel, it's probably easiest for you all to arrange for a taxi or a cab from the hotel or get the hotel to do it for you. You also have the ability, if you wanted to, hire a driver for the day. That's a thing you could do as well. Like you get a private car to drive you around. That's something, again, your hotel people can probably sit you up with. But there's no like trains or subway or anything like that yet.
Yeah, we'll talk to a manager, see if our staff help them set us up.
Okay. All right. So we'll say it's probably late morning after you get your. Do you want to rent or do you want to just take cabs? So like if you're renting, it means you're going to have a driver on staff, kind of like in Savannah. You have a driver on staff. Otherwise, you can just sort of take cabs as they come. And if you're downtown Mexico, like you can arrange for cabs, and sometimes you can actually see taxis and such here and there. It's not as like. From my understanding, like the streets aren't as like cluttered. Like it's not like this crazy traffic haven just yet, but there's plenty of automobiles on the road.
Let's go with some cabs.
Okay. So get a couple cabs. There's 5 of you. You hop into these, travel across. You leave the neighborhood that you've been in. You can see things change. Like there's less color, like the colorfulness of like the neighborhood that you're coming from. It doesn't like completely deplete. Because when you get kind of downtown, you can see the area around. You can see a lot of ornate facades. You can see wrought iron balconies galore. You can see decorative friezes here and there on some of the buildings. You can see Art Deco has a heavy presence. All these geometric patterns and motifs that Shaima, when you start to see them, you start to see some of those triangles and some of those parallelograms and concentric circles and things are starting to show up here and there, not unlike what you saw at your desk. Men are walking around. You can see most of them have very light jackets on, a shirt not unlike the one you stole last night. You can see women are sort of dressed in, no one's really dressed in particularly heavy clothing. It's even though it's like November 30th, like people aren't wearing like heavy coats, but everyone's got very light things here and there. And you can see like the populations you're seeing walking on the streets, pedestrians walking across as you kind of wait for people to cross the road. It's all sort of mix. You can see that you're not the only out of towners, so to speak. So you can see like there's various representatives of like the different Mexican states, but you can also see people probably of like European descent or Americans or something like that as well. So you're not like standing out like a sore thumb. The sidewalks in the area, kind of near where you're going, there's all sorts of these different street vendors and kind of selling this and that. You can see people on the go, grabbing coffees, grabbing cigarettes. There's a variety of like cantinas and tiendas like all lined up here and there. You pass by a few. And eventually you kind of get let out in front of a fairly large post office. Or large building, I should say. This huge, like eclectic, extravagant looking building. You can see is here and there, like on like some of like the like street lamps and street posts and things, like there's like posters and stuff like that almost look like they almost look like they're like campaign posters and things. You can see like various reform calls by like President Lizardo Cardenas, and you can see as you're walking up to this massive, stately building. It's like right there in the center. It's got this bright Chaluka stone. It's got this Gothic and kind of Art Nouveau look to it. And when you go inside, you notice that there is this absolutely luxurious and marvelous grand marble staircase that's just right there, sweeping its way upward. There's gleaming floors. There's all these elaborate bronze fittings that are kind of very opulent. And you can see as you look up and you follow the eye line of this sweeping staircase upward to the second floor and the third floor, you can see that each of the floors, like much like your hotel, has kind of like interior balconies with these bronze fixtures. And there are these dome ceilings above you that are ornate and gilded, and they're just kind of staring down at you. The fact that this is a post office and not some like elaborate like Spanish museum from Europe or something, it's sort of mind blowing, and it's very, very busy. So people are kind of coming and going. It's a Monday, and so you can see there's all sorts of business types, people in suits, people running and going. There's like the smell of tobacco that's still in the air, and you can see like there's cleaners that are still kind of polishing up the floors in these various corners. And you are inside a palace of a post office.
And I think like on the way over, like in the cab, Marie probably even would have been sort of trying to make small talk with the cab driver on the way over, like that we're going to the post office, kind of doing the thing of like, we're going to the post office. That's the post office that we're going to. Yes. And so she would have just been like kind of flabbergasted that's, kind of the opulence of this building.
Okay. So when you come in, like all of you will probably be fairly astounded at just how like this might be the nicest post office any of you have ever been in. Pastor Wood, you've been in a lot recently, sending a bunch of telegrams, and this is way better than you've ever seen. So you have a post office box. My question to you is, what do you guys do? You arrive, you're here, you're all together. You either immediately inside or immediately outside. Either one's fine. What do you guys want to do?
I'd like to immediately go inside. Have a look at the place, how the place works. If you can just go up to P boxes and open them.
You wouldn't be able to just go up to the box because you guys don't actually have a key to it. You just have the address. But you do see that there are like little wings here and there where you can see some of these boxes are opened up. So it's not a safety deposit box. So it's not like hidden in a vault behind it's like it's accessible by the public. And had you a key, you very much could do that, Patrick. You just walk up. But since you don't have one,
since I have lockpicking, we can just ignore the key.
You can certainly give that a try. Absolutely.
I go the opposite direction. I've learned my lesson.
And you fire 2 shots up into the sky. Offer a distraction.
Pastor does not want to be next to Patrick when Patrick is lockpicking.
What happened to PP Gang?
Bad things happen to PP Gang, I think.
Bev actually kind of came with. She stayed in her room late this morning because she was writing a letter to Ed Exley. So one of her first things that she does is she will just approach the counter and start to see how much it would cost to mail this internationally.
Nothing you can afford. Yeah, you wait in a very short line. It moves very efficiently. Like you can see, there's a handful. Like you're downtown Mexico. Like it's very busy. It's late morning on a Monday, right before the holidays. So it is not like a slow time, but it moves very efficiently. When you get there, like there's clerks. They're bilingual. They speak both Spanish. They speak English, and so they're very quick to kind of shift between those languages as necessary. But if you're looking to send this to Los Angeles, yeah, you can do that. And knowing Bev, like Shaima might sting her wallet a little bit more, but like yours, it's fine.
Can I afford to send a postcard to Johnny?
Of course. I think you could definitely afford to send a postcard. Absolutely.
Okay. I
would
would
send
love
like a stereo. That would probably be pretty rough.
Bev, would Pastor Wood have been able to go up with you as well?
If
Sorry,
you
I cut
wanted
you
to.
off.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Maitrey. What were you saying?
No, that's it. Just a postcard to Johnny.
Okay. So the 3 of you will sail together at the desk. Pastor, what were you going to say?
I want to buy 10 large boxes and the materials to like pack them, not with anything, but just to pack them and then send them to that PO box with the idea that whoever gets the packages, it's going to be very obvious and we can see who picks them up.
Okay. So she looks at you and she says, I'm sorry, sir. Do you know that this box is here within the office? Yes.
See.
And
Well,
you
it's not
still
my
want
box. It's a friend of mine. We're playing a little prank on him.
I see. If he's a friend of yours and you're in the same city as him, I don't know why you don't just.
Well, don't worry. We'll pay the price. And I give Beverly a little nudge.
Okay, if that is sure. And so she'll absolutely do that. She'll set that up for you. No issues. Like, it's a little odd. Took her a second, but if you're willing to pay, she'll do it. And she looks towards Beverly at that point and she gives you the price, which is more than you
It can't be
probably
that much.
wanted
It's
to spend.
local.
No. But it's a bunch of stuff, you said, right? Like a bunch of packaging and things like that.
This is me trying to persuade Beverly into picking up the tab.
Mhm. Considering
So.
she got the hanger, she'll do it, but like you definitely get some attitude from Beverly.
It's not like hundreds of dollars. This is cheap.
Oh,
So,
I know,
okay.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah,
She's
okay.
getting him shit. Yeah.
All right, so the three of you are at the counter. You're setting up stuff to be delivered to this PO box. Beverly, you're sending a letter to Ed, and then Shima, you're sending a postcard to Johnny. Let's cut over to Patrick and Marie. Patrick, we know you're going to go find the PO box, which it doesn't take you long to necessarily find it. It's very systematic. Once you find one number of a box, like it's just a matter of time before you find the other. So it doesn't require any specific skill to find it. But you do get it. This is a busy area. So it's not like you have like the, like when you come into this little wing, there are people passing by. There are people in the lobby. They're all there's people that are periodically kind of coming and going into these different wings. So you have to be quick about it. And you have to make sure you time it right. Marie, are you? Go ahead. Sorry.
Past the wood that's watching my back, but just make sure no one's looking when I do this.
Absolutely, I will do that.
Okay, so is your intention to just look to just like warn him of someone coming, or is your intention to provide distraction? Like, what's the idea, Marie?
I want to keep a lookout to see if anyone seems to be watching him closely. If people are just kind of walking by, that's fine. But if anyone seems to be looking at him, I would then engage them to try to distract them.
Okay, if that's the case, give me a spot hidden.
Okay, I'm going to take a boost here just to try to succeed at this, since this is important. So I'm trying to roll under 82. Oh my gosh. I am so glad I grabbed that boost because I rolled an 81.
Oh, wow.
Holy crap.
Okay.
Yikes.
Okay. Looking around in the post office, you don't notice anyone like specifically eyeing Patrick. You do notice that there are some people just lingering, leaning against various places, like they have newspapers up, or a couple people in conversation here and there. You see a cop pass by. You see other, postal workers and such. You don't get the sense that anyone's like following and eyeing Patrick down. So you feel like you're not being directly watched currently. So with that in mind, if you time it, like you're waiting. So one quick thing. All right, Patrick, you get kind of the signal from Marie that like all's clear. This is a quick thing. So go ahead and roll your locksmith test.
Would you like a boost?
Nope.
That's
I roll
not
38
I didn't
over
think so.
31. I'm going to spend the 7 luck.
7 luck to make it a success. And then if you could also, hard would be
23. I'll do 23 to make it hard.
make it a hard success. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So what that means is you get this done super fast. I would like a stealth test though, but because you do it so quickly, I'm gonna say take a bonus die on your stealth test because you don't have to be sneaky for too long. It's like you get up there, 1, 2 quick, 1, 2, 3, and then you're done.
Stealth came out to 14. So
Okay,
that's
man,
hard as well.
this is like, I feel like this is the Wonder Team. You thought it was the PP crew with you and Pastor, but I don't think that's where. I think it's
extreme.
Marie, you look over your shoulder.
Maybe he was the problem the entire time.
Yeah, I think that's what we've learned with this session.
Okay,
That is definitely the case. Okay, so you very quickly, and without alerting any sort of bystanders or staff or people coming and going, and Marie kind of giving you the signal to go, you get your tools out and you quickly. And it's not like it's a particularly difficult lock for you to get. Like you've seen, like, you know, you've maybe you messed around or played around with like some of the security when you guys took the security box or something like that. Maybe you kind of practiced a little bit on it in the downtime, but you're able to open it up, and you can see inside this box. And again, it's not one that you pull off. It's just you open it up. So it's just like an open. You pull out 3 things, and I am going to share them with you as I have handouts for you. So I have 3 handouts.
We do.
Okay. Speaking of postcards, one of them appears to be a postcard. One of them appears to be some kind of bill, and one of them appears to be a letter. So I'm just going to share them with everybody because I feel like you're all going to see them. So I'm not going to be too cute with it. So I'll start with the bill. Oh, thanks, buddy. I don't believe you, but all right. So there's one. So I just shared with you all on Foundry a bill. So I'll say that's the first one that you can kind of take a look at. If someone wants to describe what they see while I get the other one to you.
I don't think it was shared properly.
All right, one
Yeah,
second.
it just took us to the actual handouts page.
All right, let me try that again. All sorts of technical problems today, man. All right, let me try that one more time.
Gremlins abound.
It's so weird. Like, I still don't understand. You know, when you do it, you guys got it finally? Okay.
Yeah,
Got it. Yep.
All right. So it should be the power bill. So if someone wants to describe it, that's one.
Yeah. This is power bill for November for Luz Discos, 33 Moralosov, Coyoacan, which is the neighborhood we're in, I believe. Commission of Public Services, City of Mexico, Mexico District Federal. I'm having trouble translating the rest because I've only got a 21 in Spanish in real life. It's talking about how much power they spend, I believe. And then
It's a power bill.
L?
It's got all of the stuff
Electricity.
that's
Yeah, so
like,
yeah.
on a power bill. But we do have an additional address though, because now there's an actual like street address.
Yes. The Moralosov.
Yep.
And it says you have to
Okay.
pay by the 5th of November.
Mhm.
Remember.
Okay.
And it
so
is
then,
November of 1936, so it's a current bill.
And then there is a letter, and then there is a postcard. The postcard has a front and back. If someone wants to read the letter. Melissa, you want to read the letter?
Okay, so sorry, you said postcard?
Letter.
Got it.
The letter.
Got it. Okay. So Sampson Trammell, Hyacinth Street, Pasadena, California, 14th of October, 1936. Jonathan, my patience grows thin. I look at the incredible sacrifices that Montgomery has made in this past year and the incredible rewards which have been reaped from those sacrifices. I find myself asking, when has Jonathan ever made a sacrifice like that? I begin to wonder if I have chosen poorly in you. Never forget that you exist to service the glory of the mouth. And so I anticipate an update from you soon. Where is our nectar? When will you be able to fulfill your promises in South America so that I can turn my attention fully to the United States? Where are the new records you have promised? Hurry, Jonathan. I am waiting, but I will not wait forever. Sampson Trammell.
Okay, and then there is also a postcard. Who would like to read postcard? The postcard back has most of the info on it. Who would like to read that?
I can. So it's a postcard for correspondence. It's November 22nd, 1936. Departing today for the site, will write again when back in Meridia. Dominguez. It's signed
Merida.
by Merida. Got it.
I think so.
Signed by Dominguez to Jonathan Brooks.
And then there's an address, Rio Tigre 64, Ciudad de Mexico, DF, so Mexico City, basically. Okay.
That's the P.O. Box address, though, correct?
It is not the P.O. Box address, no. That's a different address.
Okay.
So after those of you who are so Patrick and Marie, you're the first ones who get to look at these things. So in the game world, while the other three are kind of messing around and buying their stuff at the counter, the two of you, have managed to sneak into this post office box, open up the lock, and I'll say with your really good success, your hard success, and your extreme success on stealth, you're able to do so in a way that doesn't damage the lock. And so you can close it back up, and it looks like nothing ever happened. Like no one would be the wiser unless someone actually saw you. There's no way they would even know that this has been messed with. And so Marie and Patrick can kind of pull off to the side. You can find like a little counter to kind of go through these things, and you can see a lot of people are doing that as they're addressing various bills or various envelopes and such. The power bill. Do either of you have accounting? Marie and Patrick.
You do, don't you,
I have
Patrick?
a 10 in it. It's not great.
Oh, I have 25.
You can-
Sorry. I totally forgot.
Okay, so if you would like to make an accounting roll, Marie, you can do that.
Yep. I'll take one boost, so it's under 35.
Sure.
We'll see how the roll's been going. No, that's a 76.
Okay. Maybe it's the Spanish that's kind of confusing. You can recognize a bill when you see it, but like you don't know exactly what you're trying to conclude from this. Maybe between like Pastor Wood helping to translate some of like the more specific terms, or maybe I think Bev also has decent accounting. Maybe she might be able to glean something more from it. The postcard for Marie and Patrick, it's from Merida. Do either of you have any kind of like science, like geography, cartography kind of deal? Okay.
No
All right. So the one thing that'll probably catch your like the postmark is November 22nd, which is a little over a week ago. So today is November 30th, so it would have been 8 days ago. And it does have an address, and it does mention the name Jonathan Brooks. And it's signed by someone who just calls themselves Dominguez. The letter from Samson Trammell is one of the things I would say the two of you would notice is that letter is postmarked a couple of days before you all arrived in Los Angeles. So you all got into Los Angeles second half of October, and so this is like dated a couple days before that. And we'll say at that point, Pastor Wood, Beverly, Shima, you come back fresh from your time at the counter. Pastor was such a clever ruse, and you see there is Marie and there is Patrick reading through stuff. What do you guys do?
We've got a mail. How about we head out of here?
Fantastic.
Yes, we have new addresses to investigate.
Okay. So Beverly, give me an accounting test if you want to take a look at this. Look at these this power bill.
31.
Okay.
Got 6 luck.
I'll spend the 6 to pass.
Excellent. Okay, so obviously the first thing you'll notice, especially with Pastor Wood nearby, is that you have a power bill for specifically the company of Lose Records. And not only that, it actually has an address for Lose Records. The first time you've actually gotten an address, 33 Morelos Avenue. It's in the same district that your hotel is in. It's in that artsy district. The second thing you've noticed, Beverly, as you're kind of perusing through, is that it's showing like electricity usage. And you'll notice that for the past month, it's negligible. Like there's almost none. Like it hasn't been particularly active. Like it hasn't been using electricity in the past month or so. And so those are what you know. The And so that's what you have as you guys kind of step out of the post office, back onto the street. You've got these items in hand. What do you want to do?
Okay.
With the information that we got from the bill of like the negligent payments on it, and then corresponding with the letter of him leaving he's at the site, that's gonna kind of make Bev suggest that maybe we go directly to the words are eluding me now, the recording studio.
Okay. All right.
So we know, and so and Marie will kind of try to put things together. Okay, so we know JB, we know for sure now that that's Jonathan Brooks. We have another address for him outside of this post office. We know that he's working with Dominguez. We know that Dominguez went to the site.
If anybody wants to roll a no roll, give me like an education test when you're looking at the postcard, we can do that as well. Or even like a natural world or a navigate, I'll also take any of those things. This is really just a sort of...
I got a 30 in navigate. I'll give it a whirl anyway, just to see. At some point, I've got to roll something lower than the 70s.
Yeah, I'm looking for no ones. Is that just intelligence?
So that's just give me an education. It would be I would ask for an education test in this case. It's just what you've learned, basically. Okay. Let's see. Bev. Oh no, that was the other one. Yeah, Bev, you success. Hard success, in fact. Okay. So Merida, you would know, is in the Yucatan. So it's not near where you're at. So wherever this site is, it's a ways away. It's not like in the city or just outside the city. So it's a kind of completely different location.
Does the front of the postcard mean anything to us? Like, is that like a historical site or something in Yucatan or nearby?
There's probably nothing from it. You definitely see a ruin of some kind.
Okay.
But you're not sure. You wouldn't know what it is. It's a postcard.
Got it.
You know, it's not self-made. They purchased the postcard, so
yeah.
It's likely just a reference to something important, Mexican history or something. Okay. All right. So do you go? Do we do what Bev says and go the lose records?
I'm good with that. Yeah, let's give the cavern the address. Can you take a see it, Ella?
Yes,
and
I agree with that.
Takes a look at it. He's like, "Is it?" And maybe it's the same cab. Maybe you told him to keep the meter running, and so the meter's been running. And he turns back around and he kind of does this U-turn. And he kind of drives back, as you guys are effectively kind of going back the way you came to a degree. All right, so probably by lunchtime, just after lunchtime, then we'll say you find yourselves kind of pulling up into the neighborhood near this recording studio. Now, you've heard about this place. You know that it's nearby. You got that from the street musician, and you know that it's just a couple blocks at this point away. So it's probably like 2 miles away from your hotel. Really, it's not that far. And when you're let out, kind of down the road a little bit, you can see that there's like a row of 4 very similar looking buildings. They're all kind of constructed in sort of the same manner. And as you're walking down the street, you can see one of them looks like it's like a mechanic's shop. One of them looks to be like a restaurant, like a taqueria, and one of them looks to have like a sandwich board on the sidewalk, and like in chalk is written something about like shoe repair and things like that. And you can see all of them are open because it's midday. The taqueria across the street is actually quite busy. You can see there's a handful of bistro tables like that they have pulled out onto the sidewalk, and even a couple out into the street. You can see there's people going around, kind of sitting and waiting and eating. And you can see that both of the other businesses are definitely open and working currently. You can hear the sounds of like tink tink and various machinery at work from the mechanic's shop. When you when you take a look at the Lou's records specifically, you can see that it looks unlike those other three to be kind of quiet. You can tell that it's like this, it's a 2-story stucco building. You can see like the very familiar wrought iron railings that you've seen on so many other buildings around here. You can see these like Spanish arches and such, and these small barred windows, and it's about 2 stories high. But unlike those other 3 buildings that kind of match it in its row, in this one you don't see anyone coming and going. You don't see like any kind of activity. You don't hear anything really. It just looks just sort of empty and quiet. What would you like to do?
And I'm sorry, was there sort of like a front and an alley, perhaps? Sort of like, the front business entrance and then perhaps like an alley behind?
There's 4 buildings in a row, and like each of them has like an alley down the middle. Sure.
So that would be Maureen's kind of thought would be to, if we're going to try to pick the lock here, to try to go and see if there's a entrance around the back, an alley entrance, and not try to break in the storefront side.
Okay. So you head down the alley. Give me a spot hidden.
Okay. I was joking earlier when I tried to do that I hadn't rolled under 70 and I rolled a 66. So let's see how I do with this roll.
Okay.
Oh, for frick's sake, 84 over 72.
Okay. Okay. So you notice 2 things. First, as you're moving around, you notice that the ground floor, you can tell is likely it's vacant. It doesn't look like there's a business that's currently operating within the ground floor. But you do spy as you're going down the alleyway, and you're looking up. You can see that there's like an exterior balcony that goes around the building. There is like the staircase that goes up from the front of the building, and you can see there's like a main entrance to the 2nd story section of this building, and then there's now a side entrance as well. So it looks like there's 2 ways into like the 2nd floor offices, so to speak. But you do notice as you're walking down, you can kind of get a closer look at the side door that you can see the logo for Luz Discos on it. Much like everything else, you don't notice any signs of activity. The door looks to be intact. It doesn't look like there's anyone up here. Like literally, as you just go down the alley behind the building and come back up the next alley, it's just as quiet as can be. So you saw 2 ways in. The windows, you don't think you get in because they're barred, but you did see 2 doors. There's a front door that's open to the street that anyone could see, and then there's this side door that's only really open to the alley. So if you're going to try to get in there in some sort of nefarious way, definitely the side entrance looks better.
Let's go see if the front's open real quick.
Okay, Patrick, you go up the stairs while she's doing that. Go up to the front door. Common, no big thing. Locked, definitely. You can see as you're up close, the Los Discos logo is right there. There's no signs of like hours or anything like that. You can see the address is kind of plastered to the side of it here and there, but it's definitely locked.
Any way to peek inside?
Give me a spot hidden with a penalty die. As you're kind of peeking through and everything's kind of frosted and such as you're looking through.
Failed with a 90.
Okay. It's just like you can almost see between the doors, but you can't see enough to kind of get clarity of it. I'll say for free, just listening up here, it's still quiet as can be. The only thing you can hear is like the sounds of the restaurant across the street.
Are these other businesses, is there anyone who's really like paying attention to what we're doing?
Give me a spot hidden test.
63. I have a luck. I'll spend 13 to pass.
Okay, so a regular success?
Just regular, yeah.
Okay. You look out and towards some of these other businesses to the street. Every now and then, like you can see someone kind of glances around, like from one of the bistro tables, or just someone walk along the sidewalk, just as kind of looking. But similar to like with Marie, like doesn't look like there's anyone like specifically eyeing you all down.
Okay.
I'll find where Marie ran off to, and try to make my way in.
All right. So Marie, you tell him about the side entrance, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. As soon as she saw, she would have kind of waved him back.
All right. So the dream team goes up to another lock. It's a locked door. You go up to it. It's definitely locked. Deadbolts and such. You are slightly obscured being down the alleyway, but it's still possible someone like a passerby could see you. It's still certainly possible, but it's definitely better to do the side entrance than it is the main entrance, but it would still require a locksmith test.
Okay, I've spent most of my luck, so here we go.
Marie will do the same thing, watching behind, see if anybody takes note.
Okay.
94.
Oh,
I'll push it.
Okay. Okay.
79, not bad.
Melissa, now you learn.
Wow.
Now you learn.
All right. So what I'll say is what happens is your tool, whatever tools you use for locksmithing have broken. Like all the little tongs and little things you've broken them. You're gonna have to purchase another. So you're basically not gonna have them for the rest of the day. And you're gonna have to sort of seek them out as whatever to use just starts snapping a bit in the locks themselves, and you can see like the metal bends. And this is just maybe it's just because it's a deadbolt. You're not entirely sure, but it's just you're unable to really get it going. Marie, give me that spot hidden test. And while you're doing that, I'll say thank you, Infinite Monkey, for the raid. We're playing Call of Cthulhu. We're trying to break into a record company in Mexico City. It's not going great so far.
So I spent an audience boost so that I was rolling under 82, and I again rolled an 81.
Wow.
So thank you, audience.
Okay. You at one point hear the sounds of whistling, and you see below that there is like a young man just kind of passing up the alleyway, and he's just whistling here and there. He doesn't really seem to be paying attention to you all, but like you hear Patrick just go snap something, and he's like, huh? As like the sounds of like the broken tool. And Marie, the head kind of turns up and looks at the balcony. Both of you roll a stealth test as you try to remain unobserved.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, I failed mine still.
Okay.
I'm going to take a boost so it's 50-50, but we'll see how my roll's been going.
Okay. He looks up. And he looks at the door, and you can see he just his gaze kind of lingers on it, and then he locks eyes with Patrick for a second, and his eyes kind of go wide as he gets, he can see you through like the wrought iron balcony. So it's not like this like concrete thing that's blocking you. He can see between the bars, and then he just turns his head and quickly, like you can see, he very noticeably picks up his pace as he starts walking, nearly running away. All right. While the two of you are doing that, Pastorwood, Beverly, and Shima, what have the three of you been doing?
I think Beverly would have gone over to like the bistro.
Sure.
Just to kind of chat people up about like the record station and if they've ever, how easy is it to like get recordings done there?
I would go with to help translate.
All right, so Pastorwood, Beverly, you're going to the taco shop, maybe just sitting down for lunch. Shima, what about you? Are you going with them, or are you doing something else?
I think so.
Okay.
Does not want to be left alone again.
Makes perfect sense. The three of you get a table. Doesn't take too long. It's a very busy place. You can see like your waiters kind of coming and going here and there. There's music being played. You can hear the sounds of like a man singing, and when you look through and you can see inside the taqueria, there's a handful of chairs and such, and he's kind of sitting on a stool, and he's old man. You can see like he's got like a white gray beard and bald head, and he's just sort of playing, and you hear that kind of throaty voice. It's very beautiful. And as the waiter kind of comes and goes, gets you some drinks, figures out what you want, you try to strike up a conversation and ask about this. And obviously Pastor Wood is doing his best to translate. So what is it you say? And what is your general demeanor for how you're saying it, Bev? And then we'll make a roll.
Bev just is really friendly as she's talking about how, I heard about these famous artists who sing at this record studio. My friend is a singer in the States, and we'd like to record while we're down here with some Spanish, like a Spanish band, to try like a new genre. What can you tell me about this recording studio as a local?
Okay. So you're just so it's really just pretty straightforward, right? You're not like just kind of lying. You're kind of like making up a story. So feels like a fast talk. So give me a fast talk, and then Pastor Wood, give me a Spanish roll.
Oh, I've never
Do I
actually
even
rolled
have
it.
fast talk? I have a 5 in fast talk. Ooh,
Hey.
okay.
That's fine. You got this. No problem.
I'm just gonna rip it.
You can take a 10.
Yeah.
You can take plus 10 from
But
audience
then
dying.
I can't improve it, Jeff.
Okay. 25.
25.
20 luck.
Spend the luck.
It's right
We're-
there. It's in
We're
reach.
bleeding luck.
Because then I'm going to be guilted into
luck.
spending luck that I don't want to
Maybe not
spend.
Ashley, but
Just 20,
at least
Ben.
3 of us here.
It's just 20.
Fuck it. I spent
Well,
it.
now you might as well spend an
Well,
extra 3
yes.
or 2 and make it
No.
extreme.
No thanks.
Oh, no.
I'll pass on.
She said no. Okay. She's down to 20. She's under 30. I got a couple people under 30. Now's the time. Okay, so
I failed
Couple-
my Spanish roll, 31 over 22. I will not spend the 9 luck.
Can I
What?
also roll?
what? You won't spend 9 luck to ensure that you have translated everything Beverly has said
I'm really low on
appropriately?
luck.
Are you
I'm really low
less
on
than 9?
Not less than 9, but I'm still going to be not spending the
Long
luck.
is less than 9,
Oh,
in case
man.
anyone's curious.
Long
Wow.
likes to redline more than I do.
I guess you just don't want to properly investigate is kind of what we're after here. Okay. I guess that's what it is. All right. So, Bev, you start going through this story, and Pastor Wood is doing his best to translate as clearly. Like, you're kind of coming up with this elaborate tale. It's like yours, when you say it out loud, Bev, it makes sense. Pastor Wood, as he's sort of searching for the right phrases, and I'll say, Bev, you even notice him kind of pause for a second and struggle. You see the face of the waiter kind of turn their head a little bit, like did he just say what I think he said, kind of deal. But eventually, once Pastor Wood is done bungling the translation a little bit, the waiter does start to respond. And what you'll get is a few things. You'll get a couple notes. So about Lou's Records, he says that they used to come in here all the time. Like the people who worked there used to come in here all the time. They were talking about music, and they were talking about all these great parties that they would throw for like celebrations of recordings, like over in Coyoacán. And they always promised to like invite him to some of these parties, but they never did. So like you get the sense, Pastor Wood, that as Beverly is trying to convey the idea, like, oh, we want to hire them and work for them. Like he's kind of like, oh, you can't really trust them. They're kind of liars. They don't really say too much. There'll be a phrase that Beverly catches in Shaima. He'll drop the name Estudio del Mañana, and you would know that the reference to a recording studio you've heard a couple times before, somehow connected to them. Pastor Wood, you're not sure about that connectivity. At some point, Pastor Wood mentioned something about a nightclub, but it's like, nightclub? What? And maybe you mistake, like it's this place. Oh, they used to sometimes they come and play here. Maybe they played here. And then he kind of tells the story about how they can get kind of rowdy sometimes. And you start to lose the translation. Like something about doing rowdy stuff and taking some weird shit. Like it's sort of like they start rapid firing, coming out, and then somebody else from one of their other tables kind of calls for them, and then he turns around and leaves. So that's what you get because you didn't spend 9 luck.
Apparently, there's quite a bit of nightlife around here at the nightclub here. Something to do with Studio of Tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I've heard reference to that studio a few times, so we'll need to look into them, but are you sure that's all that they told you?
That was the gist of it, yeah.
And
Like I would have been
translating
translating in real time as
words,
best I could.
words, and then they translate like 3 things.
Yeah.
Bev, if you want to roll a language Spanish roll and see if you get crazy lucky, you can go ahead and do that. Because I think you only have like 2 in it. Holy crap.
You rolled a 4.
Bev rolled a 4 and she has a 1 versus. Do you spend the 3 luck?
What the hell?
Yeah.
That's much more economical
Hell
than me
yes!
spending 9, so I'm glad this worked out.
Everest.
Oh, sure.
Okay. The one thing that you get that he didn't pick up on is when he was talking. So at one point he was mentioning how like some of the musicians that would come and play there, like there's a lot of musicians like from the various circuit and stuff like that. And there's people who would actually work at Lose Records, and like the people who did like kind of rowdy shit here and there. That's when he mentioned like Estudio del Mañana and how sometimes like some people would go there and then they would go and do the recording studio over at El Studio. Like records, like Lose Records just kind of produces it. Like where they manufacture, he's not sure. But then he mentions that like they tried to get him to come once to a party over at the club named La Paz. And that was the thing that Pastor Wood just didn't quite catch. And you know what? Because you rolled so well, you hear him describe like they used to do, like there was some sort of special drug that they did, and they tried to like, yeah, and it was sort of he took it once, he says, and he felt dirty afterwards, and kind of rowdy, and never wanted to do it again. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
I want to see Bev just sort of like turning to Pastor and just being like, wait, just like correcting him in the interpretation.
I mean, she does speak another language decently, so maybe she
Latin,
picks
yeah.
up okay.
Spanish is a Romance language.
It's Latin. If you speak Latin, it makes sense that you would be able to pick up on some stuff.
Was just thinking that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's check back in with the dream team. So Marie, Patrick, you broken your locksmithing tools. You sort of jammed the side lock. You think someone saw you. Whether they do anything about it, who knows? But you know that someone saw you. Patrick, while you're here, you're pretty sure if you just put a hard shoulder into it, you can probably pop it, but it's gonna be clear. Like if you try to break the door or down, you probably could though.
Only one other way in, Marie. I'm gonna find like a brick, maybe bust this lock open.
Okay, yeah. If you go looking around, you'll find something heavy in your mind, maybe a big old like pot for a plant out there, and you just kind of smash it down into the lock, and it breaks. Very clearly, you have broken in now. Okay, the two of you break in. I'll tell you what, Pastor Wood, Bev, Shima, each of you give me a spot hidden to see if you notice like Patrick just like tomahawking a freaking potted plant. Yeah, Pastor, you look up out of the corner of your eye. Maybe it distracts you, and that's why your translation was so off. Is you're like, what the hell are they doing now?
Rolled a 2.
Same thing, Bev. Like you look up and you can see like Patrick just swinging it down into there. How about Shyla?
Regular success.
Sure. All of you kind of notice it at a certain, like at various stages, like your eyes kind of drift up, and then you maybe exchange looks with each other at the table as they bring your food.
Almost see Marie is like, because we already made noise like with the tools kind of breaking and falling, and so like with the pouch, she's trying to like catch them as they fall. Like, could you possibly do this a little quieter? I appreciate that you're doing it, but just so much noise, and she's just trying to like pick up all the pieces of the pot.
Look around to see if anybody noticed. Give our team a wave.
See if anyone noticed. There's a whole crowd watching.
Yeah, they all just start clapping like as you finally get in. All right, so the two of you push inside, and you can see that the offices are kind of like a really big singular room, but there's like these plaster encased posts and this like wooden glass that are like wood and glass are kind of separating these walls, and it kind of creates these 4 distinct offices. Otherwise, it's like a really big singular room split in, you would think, kind of after the fact fashion. You notice like right off the bat that it is definitely been cleared out. You can see that there's filing cabinets that are standing open, that are empty. As the two of you are moving about, you notice in one of the offices there is a safe that is ajar and it's cleaned out. You can see all the desks in the various offices are open, except for like a handful of like office supplies and things like that. If the two of you want to roll some spot hidden, as you're searching around, you might be able to find a few things. As there's still like stray papers and a couple catalogs and books laying on the ground here and there, but you can tell somebody got out of here fast. Like that's the vibe you're getting.
I failed.
Okay. Marie?
86 over 72 also failed.
14 luck?
No, I only have 25.
That'll leave you with 11. It's fine.
Do you not care about the success of this investigation?
We're near the end.
That's still
You're
more
gonna
than
be able
me
to roll
after
for
you
new luck. It's there for you to spend it.
Fine. One of us has to succeed. Long has 3 luck, so he clearly can't succeed at this.
You got 3 luck. Long, you're the best, Beth. You're the freaking best. Okay, so you start searching around, and I have more handouts for you. Like one of the things you do notice is that there is a broken De La Luz record. You've seen this before, so you've seen this in L.A. Marie, you've seen one in Arkham, but it was a different song, different flavor to it. Looked a little bit more refined. You can tell it's broken though, but it's the same album that you saw in LA in the Flophouse when you went, like the Bohemian artists and such. You find a couple things. You find some shipping records. You find an invoice from El Studio del Mañana, and you find what looks like some other like quotes, like for a job of some kind. So I'm going to share some stuff with you again. So many handouts to give you guys. So we'll start with the record quotes. So what it shows, if you guys want to go over to the clues handout, I will be giving you some ownership of some stuff now. Okay, so the first thing you see is a document from a company called Novo Records. And it is not too far away. It is at 55 Morelos, Ciudad de Mexico. And it's not the same district you're currently in, but it's not that far away. And it is written to Jonathan Brooks. And it is from, it is regarding like De La Luz albums. And although it's mostly in Spanish, you are able to kind of glean without even needing to speak Spanish. It's like the stuff is fairly easy to read, but it looks like Jonathan Brooks was getting quotes for pricing, like for like album booklets and such and holders for 4, 5, and 6 record albums. Like how much would it cost to manufacture these types of records, these types of albums? Like this idea, like he was going to try to release more and more albums, bigger and bigger albums. And it's specifically a company in Mexico City, not too far away, called Novo Records. And the document is signed by a man named Jorge Novo. Okay. And so that one's easy enough for you all for the two of you to kind of quickly go through. The next thing that catches your attention, and the reason it catches your attention is because you've seen this place show up a few times now. And you find a shipping record, Murray, that has a Bangkok address on it.
Ooh.
And it looks like earlier this year, late spring, early summer. It looks as though Luz Discos sent 30 De La Luz albums. Each of them was like worth $40 a piece, basically, to someone by the name of Daniel Lohman, which is a name you've heard before, at 1370 Sharon Krung Road in Bangkok, Siam.
Oh my gosh, we have an address now. And so she gets very excited at this, and she's like shaking this in Patrick's face. Like, there's an address in Bangkok.
It's all the way across the world.
Good job, Patrick. That is correct.
He passed his navigate.
He passed his navigate test.
Mary's like a little crestfallen at that. Okay, she folds it up and keeps looking.
And the other thing you get, the fourth thing you get, so you get basically four things you find. The fourth thing you get is an invoice for El Studio del Mañana. You've heard this name a few times, the studio tomorrow. And from what you can tell, it seems to be an invoice for like this last minute recording time. So it like wanted like this extra recording time. It gives you an address you already had, 1220 Morelos Avenue, and it's just a few blocks from here. Okay. Pastor Wood, Beverly, and Shima, you all were doing spot hidden. And you were outside and you were like eating some lunch, or you were doing whatever it is that you would do at a restaurant after, like, you know, sipping some drinks and making it look like you're supposed to be there. Okay. And Pastor Wood, you had a hard success. And Beverly, what did you have? A hard success as well?
I had an extreme.
Yeah.
You had an extreme. Okay. It's actually Beverly then who sees this. Beverly, you notice that there is a automobile that has been parked along the side of the street. That is not next to the restaurant, but it's kind of out in front or adjacent to the mechanic's shop. And you can see that there is a man inside. And when you were looking for anyone watching you guys earlier, maybe you just didn't see him, maybe the angle, maybe the glare of the windshield. But you can see with great certainty that man inside that vehicle is eyeing down Luz Discos. And not only that, is watching Marie and Patrick as they now come back out of the offices and start working their way back around to the staircase. And we'll go ahead and we'll end there. We'll pick up on that in a couple weeks. And that's that.
Oh my gosh.
That's just our cab driver, right?
Yeah. He's very pissed about his fare.
I'm having a lot of fun in Mexico. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Are you?
So much.
Me
Yeah.
too.
You're being sarcastic? Were you trying to say, were you implying that you didn't enjoy Los Angeles or Savannah?
Oh, come off it. Don't twist it.
All right. Damn, Ashley, you had some clutch ass rolls tonight.
Yeah.
You really did.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
Okay.
God.
How's everyone doing on luck? What are we at?
I spent so much luck today for you. I started at 80. Yeah.
You started at 80? Holy crap.
Yeah.
And you're down to what? Like teens?
24.
What are you in? 24?
You
Okay.
spent 56.
Okay. You
I'm
might be able to
at
get above
11.
30.
41. I didn't spend any today. That's
Okay.
so weird.
Shima is
Hoarder.
the...
Jeez.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm getting up there. I better make it a little bit more dangerous, you know?
Patrick's
Keep
got
it-
3.
Yeah.
Marie, what are you at? Marie?
11.
Pastor Wood?
I'm at 19. In my defense, I gained
Wow.
7 today and I spent 9. So I'm
Okay.
still spending more than I'm taking.
So if you're unfamiliar with the rules of Pulp Cthulhu, and we're using some pulp, so we're using some pulp for our game. you can basically get out of dying by spending, if you have 30 or more luck in a scene, you can spend all of that luck. It has to be a minimum of 30, but you have to spend all of it to essentially survive what otherwise would have been clear death. And that's what Pastor Wood did earlier in Los Angeles when he survived like what otherwise would have been, instant death. And that's the only reason he survived Trammell's mansion the first time you guys went there. So
Long spent a shitload of luck, didn't you?
I always spend my luck.
Soak.
He does.
No, but in Trammell's mansion,
yes,
that
for sure.
fight
Yeah.
specifically.
Yep. Okay. All right, then let's go ahead and do some closing plugs, and then we will get on out of here. So, Steven, if you would be so kind as to listen to Maitre talk about where we can find her on the internet.
You caught me off guard.
It's gotta be for cash with it. You gotta be so cash.
So, can I spend luck to be a little more like on the ball? I am multiple use games on YouTube, and I make system agnostic tip top content that you should check out if you wanna check out.
Fantastic. Everyone's links in the session or in the session notes or the show notes or whatever the hell the notes are called and wherever the hell you're watching it. So you can get links to Maitre stuff in our various links as well. And then Steven, what's up with you, man?
I'm making a game. I'm making a Weird West tabletop RPG called Huckleberry. It releases in 74 days, so there is nothing to panic about, nothing at all. No stress whatsoever, but we're coming up on it. I'm very excited about it. It's releasing at Gen Con. And if you're going to Gen Con, I'll be running events there. So come say hi at the very least if you can't make it into the event, or play a game with me. It'd be a lot of fun. If you're not going to Gen Con, don't worry. You go to my website, and for just 2 more weeks now, you can sign up for the mailing list and you'll get a free digital copy of the early access. So no real reason not to do that. If you want to play it early, there is a way you can do that. You just have to join the Lollygagger Discord. Yes, there is a Lollygagger Discord. I run playtests there. So when you join the Discord, you accept the rules, you click the little cowboy hat that makes you a playtester. And whenever I've got a playtest going live, you can get an open slot. It's first come, first serve. So also you get to hang out with us online, which is just as much fun. I put funny pulp GIFs in our episode discussion. So, that's worth it. I think so. Jeff may disagree, but he likes to argue with me. So I think that's all it is.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't really listening to you. I was thinking of other things. Okay. Other than that, we also do some other things. Our next stream is going to be Monday, where you can see myself, Melissa, and Maitre as we go to space and we do weird space stuff and probably make Maitre cry. I'm not sure. Tuesday, we're going to be doing some Frontier Scum. We'll see Steven back in the GM seat as we're starting up a new scenario, I think, for Frontier Scum as well.
Yeah, so Tides of Rot, one of the official
awesome
ones.
Fantastic. It's been a lot of fun so far. I really enjoy it. And then Thursday would normally be Symbaroum, but we're going to be taking next Thursday off for Symbaroum. But normally every Thursday night we're playing Symbaroum. Friday, Delta Green. And we'll be back actually in 2 weeks with Call of Cthulhu, as Melissa and I, we can't make next week. So it's weird. It'd be a weird session without us.
The DM,
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm called the Keeper. It's right.
The
right
Keeper.
There. I'm just kidding.
you gotta update your Zoom.
Fair enough. That's fair. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pay our Infinite Monkey Tales raid forward. We're going to raid Transplanter RPG. Follow the raid. Have a great rest of your night. Great rest of your weekend. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
I'll be seeing you.